rushing to and fro, searching for it high and low, trying to get what I think I want, only to find out I really don't. I've got to go relax myself. I think I've overtaxed myself. Tired of all the stress and the strain. I need a minute to rest my brain, and I'm thinking about cooling out, cooling off, cooling off. I need a break from this routine. Tired of chasing this old tired dream. Too big a fool to catch a break. Lord knows I've had all I can take. I think I've caught myself in time. And just before I
Yellow in Lincoln, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia.
Hello, this is Milton Baker inviting you to listen to NASCAR racing right here on WCSL 1590 AM, 92.3 FM, and KTCBroadcasting.com.
Man, I only do things incredible can, cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Check. Good afternoon. Check, check. There we go, Hunter. How about that? We're going to go with that. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kevin Hastings, along with Tom Centofanti and Hunter Yancey's in the house. We can't hear our computer, but you guys can hear us according to the sound levels. Going to let Hunter and Tom welcome you guys in for a few minutes from the weekend. I'm going to head up the hallway, check out some sounds. But good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Shock Joxx, episode 51.
Episode 51, here we go. Tom, did you have a good weekend this weekend?
I did. Had a good weekend. Like I was saying, played a little golf. Watched most of the documentary. We'll talk about that in a second. Just want a public service announcement. Looks like, school's going to be wrapping up like we talked about Saturday. So we should be wrapping up pretty soon. Kids will have their assignments in, and I think they're going to wrap things up by the end of the month. So just in case, still have meal service there at the school. So if you're needing meal service, contact Cleveland County. Lincoln County does too. Terry Reinhardt actually helps deliver those meals. Hunter, I didn't know if you knew that, but
did not know that.
He's helping out with that. So if you do need meal service, please contact a school, and they'll help you out. But I got a peek at Darlington and saw that you told me who the winner was down there. I didn't watch it. Harvick?
Yeah, it was Kevin Harvick.
Harvick won the Darlington race.
Do not feel bad. I did not get to catch it either. I played golf as well.
Had to be pretty weird racing with just about nobody there, but it filled the void for some folks. And the Jordan documentary, unfortunately, is over. It was really just a great 10-part documentary. I mean, we look forward to it every Sunday night at 9 o'clock coming on. They're going to rebroadcast it, so if you missed it, you have plenty of chances to watch it. but really it made you look back at the 80s and 90s, and you hadn't thought about it in a while, and really not just Michael Jordan, but I just forgot how many really good basketball players there were back in the 80s and 90s, man. I mean, it really was a golden age for basketball. And it was fun getting to relive all that, and it just really seeing getting to know more about Michael Jordan. It was interesting. We all knew he was competitive, but I think after watching that, you knew how deeply competitive he was and everything, and the drive that he had, which, in a lot of opinion of a lot of people, makes him the greatest of all time. But enjoyed watching that. I'm going to have to catch up on episode 10 because, man, it's about 10 o'clock on Sunday, Hunter. I'm a little worn out. I fell asleep for a little bit, but I have to get caught up on that. But I really thought, I thought, I'd forgotten about the rivalry between him and Miller and the way they went after each other in that fight scene was pretty good.
Well,
going
what
after
I'm taking away from all of
Michael said, "Let him go."
Yeah, let him go. Yeah.
As out of all of Michael's quote unquote rivalries, the only one that he had bad blood with, like off the court, was Isaiah. The rest of them, he was really, off the court, he was friends with him.
Yeah. After the game was up, because I can remember he and Miller before, I want to say it was the 97 or 9, whenever they faced him, when they were doing the documentary, I can't remember, it was 97 or 98. That he went up to him and said, hey man, how's it going? How's your family? Everything was okay.
Even then,
court.
at the end of them winning the '98 championship against the Utah Jazz again, Karl Malone came on the bus and
said,
just
congratulations.
And Michael said, tell the wife and
Right.
the wife and kids. I said, hey,
Right.
So I think that speaks to the class that Michael held. Sure he was a ruthless killer when he was on the basketball court, but that was business. And then when business was done and business was taken care of, he was back to just, Michael, the guy that the rest of the world looked up to, but that his peers, he knew that, I can be friends with these guys. Yeah. The problem is what a lot of the players from that time period say about today's players is they're too buddy-buddy. Like on the court, there is no killer mentality. I want to go out there and beat you like Michael had and like Malone had. We can be friends off the court, but when it's on the court, it's war. I will throw elbows with you. I will push you into the stands. I don't care. I'm here to win.
Or they take things. They take it personally. You don't you get over it. Like when we were kids, we could fight. And the next day we'd be okay. But now
I fought my cousin, and 10 minutes later, just
I think that now.
I think that's a guy thing, though.
But I think
we're kind of just to get over it.
No, I think today it just takes people longer to get over it. I mean, I think people just hold a little too much inside. Those guys didn't hold it back. They told each other what they thought of each other on the court, and then after the game was over, it was done. But what I was going to say, man, I was just watching those Reggie Miller highlights, man. It's like, man, I forgot how good Reggie Miller was. I mean, he was really good. And they had Smits. I forgot about how good he was. I mean, that Indiana team, I don't know. Like, Miller kept saying that team was better than the Bulls team. Our team was better than the Bulls. But they just knew how to win. I guess you could debate
I do want to point out on it, because there's a fine line about these Bulls teams about how good they were and the players with Michael. So you're talking about Indiana, where they were better than the Bulls. Depth-wise, 2 through 9, yeah, they were. Yeah. But there was a difference at the one spot.
Yeah.
So that and Reggie Miller can be as good as he wants. Vince Carter can be as good as he wants, and Iverson. And at the end of the day, and then Jordan in episode 7, when he starts breaking down about and getting a little upset about it, I wanted to win. I didn't care anything else. He's going to win. And he didn't care about your friends. And we talk about the Hornets all the time, and everybody's like, well, gosh darn, Kemba and Dwight didn't get along. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Jordan didn't give a with anybody on the court. And it's just, it's win or lose on the court. And those Pacers did make the finals in 2000, lost to the Lakers. That's the Lakers' first of their three-peat there. Larry Bird did take them to a final. So that was a pretty good team. The Jordan's team, if you'll remember, in game 6, Pippen hardly played because of his back. Rodman didn't score. Jordan had 45 of the team's 47 points, or 48 points, whatever it was, final in that.
45 of their 48? They only scored 48?
No. He had 89. He had 45 of their 89 points.
There you go.
So he had one more point than the rest of the team. So that's the issue when you look at these things, is that, yeah, he had help, but a lot of times he didn't. and because their depth was an issue. Kukoc was out there, but he's not. He's going to give you the 15. He's not getting 25. Pippen's the only person that can get you 25, and that's if he's having a good night.
And not, ailing from a lower back pain that
they can
barely walk.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, just there's certain times, and with the migraine game, in Game 7, and then they're in Game 6, his back's going out, then contract talks. And he didn't come off too great on a lot of this
I think it was the physicality of the game was what caused a lot of players, careers really to be stricken with
when you take
injuries
it to the
toward
rack,
the end.
and if you're going to know you're going to hit the ground, when you take it to the hole, as opposed to now where you're not,
you gotta
you're
have
not
that
going to hit
mentality.
the ground at all now.
Or they'll throw the guy out of the game.
Yeah. Instead of it just being a personal foul, it's like, look, we got to eject you now.
Bill Lambier would have given his a complete salary for fines if he was still playing.
If he played today, people would hate him more than life itself. Because the snowflakes are online calling Jordan a bully right now, and so
100%. That's all I see is he's a bully.
I don't care.
I was like,
he don't care. I mean, that's not the point.
Listen.
If you want to be friends and go 3-6, you can do that.
Listen.
If you want to be buddies and everybody, let's all love each other.
Michael said it best. He looked at the camera and said, people are going to see this and say, he might not be a nice guy. He might be a tyrant. And he said, well, that's your opinion. Because you never won anything. That's what he said. Because you never won anything.
I remember that line, and it when he said that, it kind of hit me. It was one of those where it's like, he's right. That there's an old cliche, nice guys finish last. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's true.
Well, here's the thing, too. People have to remember, it's competition. I was listening to Colin coming down the road, and they had Jerry West on there, and Jerry West basically said everybody right now is searching for some sort of competition to watch online or watch on television. That's why even cooking competition shows, just something with a competitive nature in it. That's what we strive to look at, but don't act like you're buddy in a competition. You can be friends with them, but when you're competing against them, if you're friendly with them, you're not going to win. Mm-hmm. You're not going to win.
After it's over,
that's how it was, and I'll just say it like this. You can say it as well when you played sports. When I played soccer, whenever we played North Lincoln, I live super close to North Lincoln. I live closer to North Lincoln than I do Bandy's, okay? But when we would play them, because at the time they were still in a separate conference, so it was out of conference. When we played them, I knew the kids on the team, at least a handful of them. But it didn't mean we were friends when the whistle blew. I wanted to beat you so bad. So when we were done and I saw you when we were off the field, I could be like, hey, we put one on you, didn't we? I was going to be nice about it. But that's the competition. I can't go out there and be like, oh, man, are you okay? Dude, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. They want you to do that. They want you to be friendly. It's sportsmanship.
No,
I didn't see, in the 10-part documentary, I didn't see one video of Jordan riding a banana boat with any of his competitors. I did not see. The one thing they did miss. And
Jordan didn't even hang out with his teammates.
Right, the one thing they did miss, and I don't understand how or why they missed it. They didn't talk about. They didn't give Pippen his credit for the smack talk to the mailman. They didn't show that part. We told him the mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays.
Oh, Malone.
Yeah, and he missed 2 free throws right after that, and then Jordan went down and hit the shot, and they didn't mention that. Like of all the things to mention, they didn't mention that. I'm like,
I don't know.
How did we not get into that?
When I see people online talking about the competition and Jordan is a bully, I want to look at him and be like, did you play sports? Yeah. Do you have a competitive bone in your body? Even today, because my sports career obviously is over. If I'm playing a video game online, I'm still getting mad. I'm like, dude, I don't like any of you guys. I want to win. I want to win.
He couldn't have been the bully that he was if he wasn't as good as he was. So
you can't be the guy that's out there smack talking and drop 2 points.
So a lot of guys are going to see that right there. Like if Draymond's out here talking and you're the other team, like, dude, you're going to get 9.
That's why Charles Barkley has such a problem with Draymond.
Why are you talking smack? Like, you're going to get 9 points.
I mean, triple single, walking triple single. Yeah,
that's funny.
Like, shut up.
Yeah,
yeah. So
see, that's why to me,
he would say, "You're an asshole. You can't guard me, and I'm gonna drop 45 on you." Here it is.
See, that's
not. Hey, I would like you all guys.
That's
you're
why
punks. I'm
to
gonna
me,
drop my triple single on you.
My favorite, current athlete is Conor McGregor. 100% Conor McGregor. And a buddy of mine is like, dude, he's such an asshole. Why can you like him? I'm like, because he backs it up. Like, he goes out there and he talks the trash But it would be different if he talked trash and all he ever did was lose.
Here's what I,
you know
here's
that. Then
what's-
that's just the big mouth. You
Here's
know.
what's weird about those lightweight fighters, and I'm going to be disrespectful for a minute.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it.
Don't do it.
Who's the more athlete? Let's think. Who's the better athlete? Someone who can play basketball, baseball, football, and golf, which means dribbling a basketball, hitting a curveball, shooting well at golf, or someone who can beat up a 140-pound man.
Oh, so you're making my argument like when I say, what about who is a better athlete, us or NASCAR drivers? You're making that argument for me.
When you got two chickens fighting, one of them's going to win. Well, that chicken's pretty tough. But if the lion walks into the cage, the chicken's not a chicken no more. I mean, he's going to get eaten by the lion.
All I know.
Me and Conor McGregor could play 10 different sports. I'll beat him at 9 of them.
Probably.
He'll beat me at 1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he's the athlete.
know. He might beat you. He might beat you.
No,
at
have you
basketball.
have you seen him throw a football?
No. I haven't seen him throw
Oh
a
my
football.
God. Funniest thing I've ever seen in my
Tom,
life.
anyone, this is how confident I was in my basketball skills. Anyone under 6'2", I can beat 1-on-1.
Anyone.
Not now. At the age of 20, anyone under 6'2" and under, I felt like I could beat you.
Yeah, but let's
one-on-one.
not. You can't talk like that about Conor, though. Conor has held 3 belts at 3 different weight classes,
Right.
going up, going from like 145, 155, and then he jumped up to 175.
I'm sure if he practiced, he could do the
I
other.
mean, for God's sakes, he stepped into a
What's
ring
the-
with
what's the-
Floyd
what's
Mayweather
the
and
most
lasted
weight he's
at least 175.
Well, here's my point.
That was when
on
he
these
fought.
guys.
That's when he fought Diaz.
Him and Floyd and them, they get up on TV and talk about how tough they are and how I'm Billy Badass. I ain't seen none of them challenge a heavyweight yet.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I ain't seen Conor say, "Bring on Tyson. He's 53. I will whip his ass. Bring him on. I want to see Tyson and Mayweather." Everybody who talks about Mayweather,
but see,
I want to see Tyson knock Mayweather's head
That's the whole thing on weight classes.
into the third
though.
row.
That's the point about weight
But
classes.
I know, and my point is that these guys aren't that tough. If
I
you're
don't know.
if you're 140 pounds, or 130 pounds,
Ty-
beating up another 130-pound man is cool.
Tyson looks like he's let himself go a little bit.
No, have you seen the most recent videos he's put
No, I haven't
out?
seen the most recent.
He's
Apparently-
getting back
He's
ready
getting
for
back- oh, okay.
Apparently,
it's
him and Holyfield are going to fight again.
Really?
each
'Cause-
other for a charity.
Because I seen him not too long ago. It looked like he wasn't quite in peak shape.
Damn it,
So,
Tom! If you haven't seen the video of Mike Tyson getting ready,
I have not.
I would not.
They showed him some-
There ain't no way I'm even getting in a ring with him at this age.
Really?
At this point, no way.
That's what I'm saying. I don't hear McGregor.
There's no way.
The thing about Tyson is,
I'm glad he is. I'm glad to
Oh,
hear
my
that, 'cause
God.
I wasn't sure what he was, but the last couple times I'd seen him, it didn't look like
He looks just as
the
fast.
thing with Tyson.
Really?
The thing with Tyson is that you just don't want to get hit by him. Like you can tire him out. You can play around with him a little bit. He's not that big. Like Tyson Fury is so much bigger than him.
Oh my God!
I don't even
yeah.
know if Tyson could land a punch on him, not punt. A punch on him because he's so tall and
Tyson
so big.
Fury's got so much more of a reach on him. If you were,
But if Mike lands an uppercut, he's
Oh.
gonna break Tyson's jaw. Like it's not. Dude is ridiculous. Here's some of his stuff. Some of his comeback clip. One of
putting
this is
it
the
up
one.
here?
Yeah, I'm going to in just a second. As soon as I'm going to make sure that I give you the. That's not the. I don't
that's
think
not the
right.
update. I'm
the
telling
one that they
you,
were showing the
there's
other day.
one video where it's a compilation of different times that Mike Tyson has been working out recently.
It says all comeback training clips.
It's probably those have to be
I'll
some
go
of the
to
fastest
YouTube
hands
for it.
I've seen a 50-something-year-old ever
I'm
have.
glad to hear it though. I'm glad to hear that he's
And yes, listeners, I know we veered away from The Last Dance. If you didn't see it, go watch it. We're talking fighting right now, okay?
Well,
Fighting. And Kevin, I will just say this. All I have to say is you might say that those guys really aren't tough because they're beating up another guy that's 145 pounds. But I promise you this: I don't think you want to step into a weight into an octagon with a guy that was 145 doing
No.
that crap.
I'll put it this way. I myself, right now, without any training or anything, would fight Floyd Mayweather in a no holds bar fight. No
No holds bar fight.
I would have no fear fighting Floyd Mayweather.
No.
I did not say Conor McGregor.
I'm about to
because
say-
he knows how to do.
I'm about
He
to
knows
say-
how to do.
no.
So you would take a boxer,
No.
but you wouldn't take a UFC
I'll
fighter.
take a brittle-handed 50-year-old boxer who doesn't
Okay.
hit hard in a street fight. He can dodge all my punches. At some point, I'm just going to wrestle him down.
Listen,
I don't know. I think,
I'm telling you
But
this.
I think
McGregor,
Mayweather might be able to take
McGregor-
it, Kevin.
nah.
All right. I will never disrespect a professional fighter. Because they got a bigger cojones than me to just stand in there and get smacked in the face.
I'm not fighting anybody. I don't have to. I'm past all that. Now, when I was 20, I wanted to fight everybody.
I just said no holds barred street fight with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
That's
street
all,
fight.
all.
I agree. Look, a street fight, I could say this. I'm not going to say I would win, but I would probably hold up better against a boxer than a UFC fighter.
Here's Tyson doing something.
He'd shoot so fast at my legs, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right. I ain't messing with him. I ain't grapple.
No.
He does look like he can still move, huh?
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me.
I mean, you know, the guys in their 20s would beat him to death now, but
well, yes, if they're pure 20s right now, just because I think their endurance would be a whole lot better. Yeah. They're you know, basically peak shape. They're coming up on their prime. Mike Tyson is past his prime, but I promise this, if I'm one of those 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds fighting, I still wouldn't want to take a punch from him.
And that's what I was saying. You don't can fight. You want to just avoid him for 3 rounds. Don't let him land a punch.
That's why I'm
surprised. If he lands a punch, that's not what you
Honest to God,
That's
that's why I'm surprised Holyfield even agreed to this. Listen.
Holyfield thinks he's better than him. That's why.
I know Holyfield thinks he's better than Mike Tyson,
He's always
but I don't
he's
know.
always thought he's a better boxer.
I don't know if at this age, if it's safe for Holyfield to just take one on the chin from Mike Tyson.
both those guys need to, like, doing all the training and all that's fine, but there's no sense in getting in a ring with anybody. This is not Rocky Balboa, where a 60-year-old man can go in there and fight a 20-something-year-old man. Just kind of do your little workout videos.
Tom, how old are you?
Is this going to be televised?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 46.
If Dana White calls you tomorrow and says, I'll give you $20 million to fight Steve Gold.
My brother-in-law? Well, sure. I'd fight
You're
Steve.
taking it, right? Give me $20 million. I'll take the money.
mean, you know,
That's the type of phone calls to go on. Hey, Mike, how's your money
guess.
going? Well, no, not too well. You know, I got payments.
I
here and there.
guess.
Hey, you want to make $20 million?
You put it that
Sure.
way. I don't know if they can make. I don't know if a Tyson fight would generate $20 million today.
I was gonna say 100 or something.
I think it's going to.
I don't.
Because even McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is the highest grossing boxing match that it's been. And that's aging Floyd Mayweather, who's going on 50. Think about it. Who is a bigger name in boxing? And I know he's got the perfect record, but whose name carries more weight, Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather?
It would be Tyson, but I'm just.
And then who is another
I don't know who's
famous
gonna-
boxer that everybody likes to talk about? Is Holyfield.
Yeah.
And you put both of them in a ring. I could say it could generate $200 million.
Well, they're not getting any of my money because I'm not paying to watch that. I mean, it's just those
You
guys,
wouldn't pay to see who wins that at that age.
They've had their day. They've had their day.
Here's the thing. I mean, obviously they have to make money off of this, but I know it's like for charity.
Well, you just said, well, $200 million. You know, they were supposed to get paid well for that. I'm not going in there and just getting.
No,
paid
no. I know. But the
All right,
fight
here's the-
initially is for charity.
The last Tyson Holyfield fight, Tyson got 30, while Holyfield got 33 as the winner. They had an additional 1.9 pay-per-view buys. The fight made $100 million with ticket sales. So let's just give you an idea. They just had $100 million in ticket sales.
That's not even counting pay-per-view.
They had 1.9 pay-per-view buys, so if it's $50 a buy at $2 million, $100 million in just buying the pay-per-view.
I guess people are going to pay $50 to watch it. I'm not.
That's what I'm telling you. Well, think about it, Tom. If they put it on right now, what else is there to watch?
Well, I mean, right now, I guess it's really unfair, but I mean, you know what? I just don't. I mean, let's move on. These guys have had their day. I mean, they've
Have they had their day?
Back in the 90s.
Have they?
They've had
I
their
don't think
day.
they've had it at this
Yeah.
age yet.
This
This is a new day, and it's going to be one day.
Tyson and Vic both had middles of their primes off due to being in prison. That did not help their images / careers at all, right in the middle of their careers. You know, like, listen, George Foreman won the championship at what age? Do we remember?
Yeah, when he hit Michael Moore in the mouth, and it looked like Michael Moore's mouth had been pressed with a iron.
Waffle iron.
I couldn't believe it when he knocked him out because Michael Moore was beating him to death. Foreman hit
He
him
was
one
45
time. Yeah.
when Foreman did that. Now I watched a documentary last weekend or the weekend before on Foreman, and he was probably one of the most underrated, underappreciated guys. And
he could hit hard.
He could hit
hard.
Like when you watch those videos, like, you know, Tyson's hits were like stunningly, I'm knocking you out. Like Foreman Hunter would just start punching you, and if you'll remember the fight with Ali, Ali just covered up and took all the punches. He's the only person that ever did that with Foreman. Foreman would punch through your protection, basically, is how hard that dude would hit.
Oof.
And like, so if you're covering your head, he just kept hitting your hands with your head covered. He didn't care. And just watching some of those fights, he was just beating men in the head. Like, just if their head turned at all sideways down or whatever, it was just club, club, club. And Ali got him tired, and and that's how he beat him. And then he made this he got depressed and kind of went out of boxing for a while. Makes this comeback and wins at 45. I don't know about Tyson. You just don't want to get hit by him. But yeah. I mean, if he fights Vander's just gonna stand there and Floyd Mayweather.
I'll tell you what. The last boxing match that I seriously watched, because I wanted to watch Fury Wilder too.
What about tag team boxing?
Tag team boxing? No. No.
You can tag out. You start struggling, Hunter.
I take that back. The last boxing match I watched was McGregor Mayweather, but the one before that left a sour taste in my mouth, and it was Pacquiao Mayweather when they were both like almost in their 40s.
Yeah.
That one was bad, and I wanted all my money back. I was very mad at that.
Sorry, I'm just not gonna pay $50.
I'll watch a UFC fight before I watch a boxing
they're
match.
seriously mentioning tag team boxing. Tyson and Shannon Briggs versus the Klitschko brothers.
Why is Tyson that needy for money right now that he's trying to just come out and box again?
He did have a lot of financial
Hunter,
problems.
I'll give you $20 million to fight.
Listen, you can give me $20 million. You can give me $20 million to just stand there, and I will let James Harrison run my back into the ground.
That's for what? Stand here for 30 minutes of fighting. You may win.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
That's going to be like 3 minutes of fighting, and a lot of just hugging each other.
That's what every Floyd Mayweather fight is 2 minutes of fighting, and everybody else slapping and dancing with each other. That first Pacquiao fight, this is the most. I just bought my daughter dances. I didn't buy it. I went to someone's house, but
that's what I did. But I still had to, chip in to get it. I was like, "Can I get my $5 back?"
The real deal has confirmed his teams. The real deal has confirmed his teams are in talk with Tyson's people over an eventual showdown. His people have been talking to my people, and we haven't got a solid deal together, but it's coming that way, said Holyfield.
Dude, I saw one of the videos of Mike Tyson, obviously doing one of his training sessions with his trainer, and it was on Twitter, and someone quoted the tweet and said, "That trainer is one slip away from dying. If he misses where that glove goes."
Tom, what do you think about Tyson in the old days doing MMA? Like, what if it was around when he was around? Would that
Herschel
not be
Walker
scary as crap? Okay,
Herschel did it.
Let me talk about Herschel real quick. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know Joe.
Most popular podcast in America. He also is a boxing analyst, okay, and a fighting analyst, MMA analyst.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot to do with the come up of MMA and UFC with Dana White.
Go type in, when you get time, Joe Rogan, Herschel Walker, talking about Herschel fighting at 45. Like, he is so amazed, calls him a beast. Like these young guys don't want this. And he's trying to explain to another guys that they're talking about working out during the corona, actually. He's trying to explain how Herschel does 2,500 push-ups, 2,500 sit-ups a day, and all he eats is soup and one piece of chicken a day. And he's like this, and Herschel said when he came into MMA a few years ago when he first started it, that if MMA was around when he was 20, he would have never played football. He would have been a fighter, and he practiced karate and all that stuff.
I was gonna say, I wonder what his fighting style is.
He did karate. He also did. I think he did taekwondo, and he also took ballet in college.
A lot of running backs did ballet to help with balance.
Herschel took ballet, and Joe Rogan will talk about it. Is that he just comes in here and is just killing these guys, and I've watched him. Like, he is so much. They don't put him against the main guys, of course, when he first come out.
No,
but he is worn out. He fought 4 guys. He wore them all out. He's 4-0, undefeated. Hardly anybody got any punches on him. He's like, you could see though, Tom, when the guys like got a couple punches on him or try to get him in a hold, you could see almost the rage in Herschel, and his muscles just start getting bigger and bulging, and he would just start whipping these dudes. And that's when you think about crossing over like that. Like, what about Tyson in a situation where the referee isn't like, hey, don't hit below the belt. Mike Tyson, you can do whatever the hell you want, pretty much. Like, how dangerous do you think that would have been? Like,
he could have done it. I mean, there's no telling, and just the power of him. Good Lord, could you imagine him?
smaller gloves,
There are
smaller,
just-
no
gloves,
big
God
padded
almighty.
gloves.
No padded gloves. No, they might have maybe
That's what I'm
an
saying.
inch or two of just padding.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I mean,
even an inch
It
on
was
their
bad
knuckles.
enough with the glove on. Could you
Mm-hmm.
imagine with no glove on? That man hit you, God almighty.
But I want you to think like there are just such mismatches though that you can find in UFC fighting where
Right.
as Mike Tyson's specialty was his boxing. For UFC would have been he would have obviously have stuck with some sort of Muay Thai stand up
Yeah.
fighting, which is what's Connor's strength. That's what McGregor's strength is. So anytime that's why McGregor when he lost to Diaz the first time, he got cocky. I know Connor got cocky. He put his hands behind his back and took one on the chin and it got him dazed.
Yeah.
And then that's when Diaz shot him and took him to the ground because, Connor's strength is not wrestling. That probably would have played the same problem for Mike Tyson. His strength was, unless he had the background of wrestling, anybody that would have got him to the ground, the toughest part would have been getting him to the ground because he's so big.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I can admit it. If he catches anybody that's trying to shoot him, he'd knock him out. He might kill him. With no padding, he might kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you would want to try to wrestling, but if you got caught in a weird situation,
If his hand got free
you're right,
from when you were
right.
trying to wrap him up, it's over.
But and my thing is that he would be different than Evander or some of these other guys in MMA because the dude is vicious. That's where I'm. That's the difference. Say, you see the difference between Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah.
Tyson was that's what it was. It was vicious. There was a viciousness to what he was going to do. And that's why in MMA, even if you do wrap him up or try to roll him up or something, like if he's just, I mean, just pounding on
I'll
your
tell you what else.
on whatever.
People were afraid of him. Like,
Right.
I mean, they were afraid. You could tell when they came. I remember when he fought a guy. I want to say his name was Peter McNeely.
Mm-hmm.
When he came back, he first got out of jail. McNeely was talking all this smack, like I'm going to kick his ass and all this. And then he come out there, and you could just tell as soon as the bell rang, that man was so scared. I think he lasted like a round.
I think
maybe
Chappelle
a round.
did a bit on guys standing in the ring when Tyson walks in and like, oh shit, this is a bad
Yeah.
decision.
Oh yeah. They were, but you could really tell they were.
My mom said one time. She said one of the reasons why she never would buy another boxing match like on pay-per-view or she said it was a Mike Tyson fight and they bought it and it only lasted like 30 seconds. They said it was not worth it.
No.
Wasn't worth it. She said like we paid that much money for a 30-second show because Tyson just put him down.
The best Tyson fight was the one where he fought Buster Douglas, because I mean that was, that was a war. You know what I mean? And Tyson got the crap, but at least you got your money's worth out of that. I want to say that one was on HBO. I don't.
That one was a weird one. So if I remember correctly, I did see a little clip on that Tyson actually knocked Douglas out, got a slow count, or they should have ended the fight, let Douglas back in, and then they fast counted Tyson. It was like the opposite of the count or something like that. There's some controversy. If you're watching and know the details, and I'm messing up, I know. I'm not that big of an expert on it. What I'm saying is that there was some type of controversy in that fight in particular. It just wasn't like, hey, Buster upset him. It was, hey, what's going on? Like there was definitely controversy with that fight. And like I said, I don't know the exact details, but whatever. Hunter, anything else on the Tyson stuff? We kind of jumped from the Last Dance. There's a couple things I wanted to kind of get back into on that.
No, I think it's intriguing. I'm gonna be honest. Like when I first heard about it, I thought it was just a publicity stunt. I thought someone, you never know with the internet now. I thought somebody was just gonna, BS me.
Your first instinct was correct. A publicity stunt to make a bunch of money.
That's what I thought. But
that's exactly what it is.
I've seen the Holyfield videos. I've seen the Mike Tyson videos. If you're Mike Tyson at this stage in the life, why would you go back to just training that hard and shed all that weight if you weren't getting ready to try and fight?
I mean, I guess the fight itself would be just a payday.
Listen, if
it's
one round, maybe 2 rounds at the max, who cares?
I'll watch the highlights. chance.
Who
I ain't
cares?
paying $50 for that. Y'all can pay $50 for that.
I
if
don't.
you
I
want.
don't pay to watch any of them now. That's what YouTube's for.
All right, so last night they got into the flu game, which was the pizza
Remember
game.
that, yeah.
I knew about the pizza part.
They said it, but it's funny you mentioned that. They sort of insinuated the pizza was poisoned. I mean, they
Right,
sort of,
right.
without saying, it was like, well, there was 5 guys down there. They knew it was it. I mean,
I
but they
saw a
never
guy-
said the
Yeah.
pizza was
I
poisoned.
saw a guy
but
tweet.
They said
he said,
the pizza
tweeted,
was poisoned.
He tweeted and he said, "This is a bad look for Utah pizza parlors."
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
I would, you know what I would like to say. Nobody would do that, but I guess somebody would do that. So
yeah.
some-
Listen, it's the finals.
Especially if you got money on it. You're the finals. That's your team. Yeah, 5
Yeah, but
dudes
how
don't
would
show up.
somebody with money on the fight infiltrate a pizza parlor at 11 o'clock? I mean, how would they even
Tom.
know? How would they even
Tom.
know?
Jordan's dad was killed on the side of a road in South Carolina somewhere.
Yeah, I know, but that, I know,
Things
but
happen. People
I
find
guess,
people.
I
And whether
guess.
that's real or not, that was an accident, or just it just happened to be Jordan's dad. The gamblers will find a way, almost like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Life will find a way.
Life will
The
find a way.
gamblers.
See, but what I'm saying is,
We'll find a way.
even if you want to trace that to gambling, Jordan paid his gambling debts.
Right. They could have also simply have been just 5 Jazz fans that wanted to meet Michael because they knew that was the team
Yeah.
hotel,
Yeah.
and then B, hey,
wanted the
let's just
Jazz
get him
to
sick
win.
so we can win. Whether or
Yeah.
not they had money on it or not.
I want you
would
to think
hope-
about that,
I
too.
would hope
I want you to think
nobody
about that,
would
too.
do that.
My
That's
man
terrible.
went out there, played, what was it, 30 plus, almost
44
40,
minutes.
44, I would say 40 plus minutes with food poisoning and still dropped 30 plus points.
That's just
LeBron James, they call it the cramp game. And I'm not gonna play off cramps. I've had cramps and they're awful if you're dealing with them during a game.
yeah,
It's awful.
It's painful.
But there's a way for you to at least work through cramps during a game. You hydrate. I know it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough, man. But people say the cramp game probably was tougher than the food poisoning game. Buddy, I'm not too sure about that. Because my mom is a nurse and she was sitting there saying, I'm surprised that, she was like, I'm glad that they had him hooked to an IV, but she's going all over this stuff. She's like, why didn't they take him to the ED, ED, emergency department, just to get him checked out? And I was like, Michael. Well, of course we know probably why, because he was like, no, I'm going to play.
Well, Jerry Sloan said he didn't even know he was sick. The Jazz coach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, basically, but watching the game, he was just
said,
like, I didn't know he was sick.
He said, y'all just told me, is what he told me.
That's what he said. He was like, did everybody know he was sick?
He said, am I the last one to know? So, that just, I don't know, the whole situation was kind of weird. The Jazz there was a good team, a tough matchup, but, I don't know. I didn't think the Jazz was the best team out west at that point. I was really concerned with Houston, with Barkley, Pippen, and Olajuwon. It wasn't
Pippen went to there after.
right, and it wasn't.
That's one of the
Yeah,
cool
what am I
videos.
talking-
That's one of the cool videos I watched Sunday. It was like the underlying animosity that was there between Charles Barkley and Pippen
Well,
after
Stockton
Pippen was there for a year.
Stockton hit the game winner over Barkley and them.
Mm-hmm.
So Barkley hit the game winner against, I think, the Spurs, and then Stockton came back and hit one on him. So that could have easily been the Suns again in that first finals. The second one, of course, Malone. Jordan was pissed about the MVP, of course, not going to him, and Karl Malone got the MVP.
That's what Jordan says. He said, I'm not saying he wasn't deserving of it. But
Just
if you
pissed
think
me
that,
off,
but he
yeah.
said, but if you think he's the MVP, okay, we'll see about that. That's what he says about everything. If he didn't get the MVP, he was like, so you and kind of like he's like, oh, Jerry Krause, you think he's a good defender? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see
So
about that.
did you catch him talking to Scott Burrell?
Yes.
He said, boy, when I see you after this, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Scotty Burrell. I thought it was funny when he came in the little anecdote about how he was playing baseball and he was like visiting the training, and he's like, "Oh, you good thing you quit because I could
That
guard
was
you."
Byron Russell.
Yeah, but Jordan said to like Karl Malone, "You better get this kid."
That was Byron Russell in a Bulls practice. They were shooting at the Bulls facilities as they were in town, and
Oh man, that was funny.
so they even got Burrell on
You
here
better get this kid.
saying MJ's leadership wouldn't work today. That's Burrell, obviously.
No,
Scott
he's not the
Burrell.
only one that said that. Though Channing Frye came out and said in an interview, he said LeBron to me is the GOAT, and he said because players today probably wouldn't want to play with Michael.
Again, because guys want to be friends. Like that's
I
what they
know.
keep saying. I just want to be
Colin-
friends with him, Tommy.
I just
we want to be
referenced-
buddies.
I just referenced what Colin said because I was listening to him on the way down here,
So
and he
stupid.
said he made a good point. He said, I don't think that's the case because players today, they would still kind of like to win.
Yeah.
You know, like
Players today are sellouts. As soon as they become free agents, guess what they would have been? Chicago.
oh yeah,
I want to be his teammate.
Yeah.
I want to be his buddy. That's exactly what they do to LeBron. That's what they
Yeah.
want to do to him. Think about it.
they want to ride coattails.
What free agent came in? And he's right. What free agent came and signed with the Bulls?
Rodman, that was it.
That was a trade.
Oh, that was a trade?
Will Purdue for Dennis Rodman.
They traded for
no,
Rod.
okay.
Yeah, they
I-
traded
traded.
for Rodman,
Okay.
and they
Will
brought,
Purdue
but they
for
had to
Dennis
have
Rodman.
the sit-down meeting with
was
Phil.
he traded from Detroit to
He was traded-
San Antonio too?
No,
that
they
might have been a
released
free
him.
agent.
They
That might have been
released.
free
They
agent.
Okay,
released
that's what I
him
was thinking.
because
Okay,
that
when
was
he went
after
there,
the
it
gun incident with Rodman.
Right.
They
right,
released
right.
him.
Okay.
They,
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah,
hey,
because I always forget about stopping San Antonio before he
people
went to
always
Chicago.
forget. Dennis
Okay, that's
Rodman
right.
showed up
That's
with a
right.
gun. It's
That's
a little
right.
crazy,
Yeah.
but
Now, did you
Yeah.
see the part last night where Rodman missed practice in the finals?
go to WWE. Go
Yeah,
with Hulk
yeah,
Hogan.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was
I saw
re-
it.
he
Yeah, I
was
saw that.
wrestling.
Yeah, I saw the bits and pieces.
Now,
of that,
I 100% remember the wrestling stuff after the season because Karl Malone joined him for some matches. During the finals, I can't quite remember that exact moment like that. They were up 3-1 or 2-2, whatever it was, and it didn't really
I
matter.
want you to think about it. That crazy
Phil Jackson was
SOB would
pissed.
just go anywhere.
Yeah,
They just go.
They didn't even mention him marrying himself in this documentary.
No, they
in a
didn't.
wedding dress.
They
and marrying
didn't.
Yeah,
himself.
they left that out. Yeah.
So they.
I was expecting him to do a little epilogue when he was with the Wizards too, and they didn't really do that.
Well,
That's only about
well,
the last dance.
Yeah, it was that was 9.
I know that
last
they- I
season
know
with
But
the
they
Bulls.
did flash back. I figured they might say, "Well,
no.
what happened?"
The
after?
only thing that they talked about after was, which was really revealing.
Well, the whole point of the documentary was that, like you said, that is the last dance, the last season. Everything has to do with this. This is what it's about. So they didn't talk about Wizards. Or
But what was really revealing was what happened after the championship. Obviously, they showed what happened, and then they started to talk about Reinsdorf approaching Phil, basically over, not undermining because he's over Jerry Krause, but that's kind of how Phil thought it was going to be, is kind of undermining Jerry Krause by listening to Reinsdorf, which that was I think that's what was crazy because a lot of people, I know Kevin had sat there a couple times and said, why didn't Reinsdorf just say, screw what Jerry Krause wants, we're bringing everybody back? I mean, he's the one that's cutting the check. And then you saw that it was happening. And Skip Bayless was hot about it this morning.
Right.
He was hot about it this morning, saying how the real reason that team fell apart was because Phil Jackson decided that he needed a break and went away, and then took a year off, and the year later was coaching Kobe Bryant and Shaq and the Lakers.
I'll say this though: you tell a man, I don't care if you're 82-0, you're not coming back, and then at the end of the season say, "Hey, want to come back?" I would probably done the same thing.
Well, see, and that's how I feel about it.
How disrespectful.
That's
is that?
how I feel about it because it's like, I don't think it's that Phil didn't want to undermine Jerry Krause and listen to Reinsdorf. I think
He didn't
Phil
wanna
had
be
a.
there.
He just didn't want to be around Jerry Krause.
everybody.
But after he's been disrespected that bad.
it's
Right.
I don't
everybody
blame
has to understand the thing about Phil is he's a big baby too. Of all of them, he may be the biggest, most sensitive one of them all. He gets into his Zen stuff, and you hurt his feelings, and you see what he did with the Knicks and Lakers, and he just acted. He acts. Is it Mercurius? I'm trying to say that he's just. It's a lot about Phil, and he tries it to make it not about Phil.
But I agree with what you said. I mean, it was blatantly disrespectful telling him, "Look, I don't care if you do
I
go
don't care if
82
you're
and 0
82-0
and win the championship.
That's
You're not
personal.
coming
Then
back."
you're making it personal if you tell somebody.
So
that.
I'm not as gung ho about it as
Well,
Skip,
he also
Skip
had
Bayless
his
was.
replacement.
They had
already
him lined
in line
up
for 2 years.
Yeah, they had him lined up.
Deployed.
But that's why I'm not as high on Phil
it not-
Jackson was the reason
does
that
it
they
not
came
just-
crashing down.
Well, Hunter, what do you think about these general managers? Like at every point, Krause just wanted credit so much.
I'm not sure why.
Like he just
Listen.
they just kept saying
Listen,
when they interviewed
Jerry West today on Colin's show said organizations don't win championships. Players win championships. And he's a front office man. He is the same exact as Jerry Krause. He's a general manager.
Good organizations can be consistent playoff teams.
He said it takes the organization to put it together.
Right.
Put it
but
this way.
but the
Just get ready to
players.
say,
Put it this way,
you can't have an effed up organization and win.
Right, that's what you
Sorry,
can't have.
Cleveland.
So
Yeah.
year after year
Right.
after year after year, Toronto ran out into the East, second round, and played well, had good teams. It's a good run organization.
They have
You
arguably
add-
the best
you
general
add the
manager
best
behind Jerry
player
West.
in the season at that time, and you end up winning a championship. That's what a good organization
Right.
would do. Not like who did Krause really like? He wants credit for building the team. So you drafted Scottie Pippen, which is pure luck. We all know the draft is
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. It's a
The guy in
crapshoot.
front of him picked Sam Bowie. Yeah, you're a genius, Krause. You know what I mean? Like, what did you do? Jordan fell to you. Congratulations. You drafted Pippen. Okay. So those two. Besides
Yeah, because
that,
you never know how they're going to turn out. Look, Cam Reddish went in top 10, and you ain't heard nothing from him with the Hawks.
Well, he
the
also-
Hawks,
he also
the Hawks have
drafted
had.
Kukoc.
was it a tough decision to trade Will Purdue for Dennis Rodman? Like
The more you say that, it's like the more you say that, like I say, the kind of the details get a little. Yeah, they didn't give much for him,
They didn't give much. for him,
but
did
you
they?
had to have somebody like Jackson that could deal with him, though, Kevin. I'll say that. I mean,
the
yeah, definitely could deal
personalities.
with him.
Phil's best attribute, because Tex Winter ran the triangle and Jordan ran it on the court. Phil's best attribute was the meshing of the personalities. How many coaches would let Dennis Rodman do what he did?
None.
None.
And the second thing is, could Rodman have done what he did? If you'll notice in the thing, they always went to Jordan.
Who?
They always asked Michael, "Is this okay? Is this is
Yeah, it
is
all
what
deferred
Dennis
to
is-"
Michael. My question was, when he was Popovich at San Antonio at that time?
Yes.
Okay, well then that definitely was not gonna mesh. You see how Popovich is. That definitely wasn't gonna mesh.
No.
So there's no question about that.
A lot of coaches aren't going to let their player go party in Vegas for a couple days because they need to blow off steam. Man, it's just not going to happen.
And not many of them are just kind of gonna be cool about it.
That's not
Well,
gonna
like you could tell Phil
He was pissed about the second
Phil
one.
was pissed about it, but he didn't take it out as hard as he probably wanted to on Dennis Rodman. Because think about it, they were in the midst of a championship run right there, trying to win their sixth and final championship. What are you gonna do? Bench him? You gonna say you're not playing in this game? Do you think Michael would have taken that well if you
Was
look
that game 6?
I can't.
that he went? He took the break and then came out for Game 6, or was it Game 5? I'm not sure. I can't remember from last night.
I
know it's crazy.
I can't. That might have been part of the part that I missed. So I can't remember. I remember watching at the end and showed him coming out there with the NWO hat on and all that.
But I will
Like,
say
wait
this:
a
I
minute.
didn't think Scotty would do it, but Scotty gave Jerry Krause some credit
He did.
in when they
It was-
interviewed him.
He went to wrestle after they won by 40.
Yeah, they did. Oh, dude, that was what was the wildest
That's
thing ever.
what it was after
They-
game 3.
Game
they won
3,
by 40.
and they held the damn Jazz to what 54 points.
The least in modern history, even with a three-pointer.
You know-
54 points in the finals, 96-54, and that's the
if you're
one
the
thing.
Jazz, how embarrassing!
So,
Yeah.
so
That's embarrassing.
So Hunter, that's the one thing that I want to point out about those Bulls teams. And when you talk Scottie Pippen, when you say he was one of the top so many players, the thing that made the difference was the defense. Look at these final scores. Like, game 6 was 80-something to 80-something. Like, it's not – they weren't scoring a lot. And then Pippen's major key, and the same thing, him, Harper, and Jordan could rotate on the guards and guard anybody, anything. So if one guy was struggling with him, they could move the other guy. If one guy was shutting him, another guy down, they just moved him around. And then Rodman could guard whoever the best big man was. And then the 7-foot center, every team had 7-footers in. So they just ran. Longley wasn't a great center, but he was tough to do. He's just a big body, big giant body. So in that finals game, I'm gonna pull up this box score to make sure I get all these right. Pippen, in limited minutes, 25 minutes, had 8 points. Ron Harper, 8 points. Dennis Rodman, 7 points. The second leading scorer was 15 points. Tony Kukoc. There's a good team. They may be the best defensive team we've seen. And then they had the most electric offensive score. So if you put them up against, say, the Pistons' great defensive team of 2003, they have to smoke the Pistons. Because the Pistons wouldn't probably scored on them. And it would have been the same scores like
Do you
that.
want to know what I think this has done a lot as well for me? I've known how great Michael Jordan is. Just you can watch the highlights.
I got
My
a good
dad
stat
can
for
talk
you.
about him. I hear everybody else talk about him that's seen both Michael and LeBron play. And this is just what I have to say when we talk about which one had a bigger impact, and it's obviously Michael, because to me, Michael changed the game and LeBron hasn't changed the game. A lot of people that are my age will sit there and say, oh, he changed the game. He was a point forward. No, that was Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was a point forward before that. Even then, you could argue Magic Johnson could have been a technical point forward for his size.
That's what I was thinking.
Anthony Mason was a point forward.
And point forward at their size. And all LeBron
Penny
did.
Hardaway was 6'8". Jalen Rose was
So you've always had big, because it's not until this year did that NBA average drop from 6'7" to 6'6". So you've always had larger players on the floor. Just now the guards are starting to become smaller because they specialize in shooting threes, and they're fast enough to get by their defenders and get to the basket. So, but where Michael revolutionized it is, Kevin says it all the time, he dominated in a game full of big men, where the big man was the one that was dominant, and he was the guard that was out there dropping 30-plus.
It was funny where they said, well, he's not going to dominate a game. He's not 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
He's
Seriously.
That's what.
Feel wrong about that.
Isn't that what Reinsdorf said? He's like, he's 6'6". He's not going to dominate.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
I thought wrong on that.
That's what he did. And, and I'll always say, LeBron is a great talent. And what I've seen LeBron do, he is fantastic. I just can't, to me, he has not changed the game like Steph Curry changed the game. Steph Curry changed the game because he made three-pointers look natural. He just made them look like it was the mid-range shot.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. And from there, it just backed up to the logo.
I would like to kind of sidestep a little bit. And, they did the little thing on Steve Kerr in episode 9. And
I had no idea about that.
I did not know
I
that
had
happened
no
to
idea
his
about
father. You could tell he's very smart, and he came from an academically oriented background. Both parents being
I can tell
because
because he's kind of nerdy.
Right. I mean, but he's you could just tell. I guess I want to use the word intelligent, but he's well educated, well spoken.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize. I started looking it up. All time record percentage threes made 45. He hit 53% in one season. 3-pointers. I mean, what a marksman he was. But his career average is only about 6 or 7 points.
Well, he knew what his role was.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, he said last night, he said, look, I looked up John Paxson when I first got to Chicago because I think Paxson said when they cut to him, that was his final season.
Yeah.
And he told Steve, this is what I do for Michael. I'm complimentary. I know I'm a role player. If you accept your role, then you're fine. And I think that can go for any sports team. If you accept your role and don't try to do more than your means, then you're gonna be fine. Because I think that's they say it in football, just do your job. They say that in a lot of sports. Just do your job. Don't try and do too much. And I think that's what Steve Kerr did. He went out there. He knew he was going to be there. He wasn't one of the guys that just stood on the perimeter like in today's game. They'll just have like the guy that's the pure three-point shooter. That's about all he can hit. All he does is stand on the three-point line. But Steve Kerr knew, like, okay, I'm supposed to hit threes if Michael or Scotty drives and they get doubled and they need to place the kick out, I'm going to be available. Because that's what John Paxson did. So Kerr stepped right into John Paxson's place and didn't miss a beat. Because John Paxson didn't average a lot of points either. He was about the same.
He could hit that big shot especially when Jordan called that shot for him.
Yeah.
And they won the finals, and Steve Kerr said, well, I bailed out Michael again. That was a great speech.
That
by
was
the way.
funny.
Was
he
funny.
said, well, I guess I can bail him out one more time. He said,
Right.
Michael said, I'm not used to these kind of situations.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But I think that Kerr, he just played his role. He did what he needed to do, and that's all you can really ask out of him.
I remember he was good, but I didn't I looked it up and said, man, he was that good as far
He was
as
efficient.
accuracy.
I would say he's efficient
because he didn't take a ton. He didn't take a ton of shots. I guess if you compare how many shots, because he didn't average that much per game over his career, but his percentages were impressive.
All right, so let me give you in game. What is that? 6? No, is that 7?
There was no game 7.
I know.
They ended that in 6.
In game 6, Steve Kerr didn't score.
Yeah.
Like the game. Let me go through again. This is the game they won the championship on. Winnington 2, Bushler 2, Scott Burrell, who Jordan said don't even come to Utah with me, threw in 0 points. Steve Kerr 0 points. Dennis Rodman 7, Pippen 8, Longley 0 points, Ron Harper 8. And Tony Kukoc 15, Tom, and he won. He won. Like,
So that's his box score for Chicago. How much did the mailman in Stockton have for their team?
Yeah, not much.
I can just scroll on down. Malone 31, Hornacek 17, Stockton 10 points, 5 assists. So bad game for Stockton there. And that said 3 guys in double figures.
Anybody
and Byron
notice
Russell had
how
7.
nerdy Stockton looked
He
last
was
night?
good though, man.
I know. Well, I'm not just talking when he was
Yeah.
playing. I'm just saying when he was on television, I saw someone take a picture on Twitter and quote it and be like, "Who invited the assistant principal?"
So,
Well, I say,
like what?
Hornacek was good too, man.
Hornacek was a fighter. He was
Yeah.
a mean jerk, is what everybody says. Now Stockton was about as fundamental and flawless a basketball player as you could ever have. Like, whatever you told him to do or wanted him to do, he's going to do it. He's not messing up out there. Like, there's no messing up or he's not doing J.R. Smith stuff out there.
No, that's probably about the exact opposite. Okay, Kevin.
Hey.
If you could find the bizarro of John Stockton, it would be
J.R.
J.R. Smith.
cut Dr. Hennessy some credit. All right.
No,
So
buddy.
I wanted to look at Jordan's this game 6 as well. Another thing on it. Okay, so today a lot of people talk these plus minus is like the biggest thing.
Yeah, plus minus.
Biggest thing in the world. Now, so I'm going to give you the
He
plus
scored, but his plus minus was like 10.
Right. So I'm going to give you the plus minuses in this game. Just 2 people. Scottie Pippen in 25 minutes only scored 8 points and could barely walk on the court.
Mhm.
His plus minus was 16.
So he had a positive.
Right. Jordan in 43 minutes with 45 points, his plus minus was 2. So if you're looking at the advanced analytics, Tom, Pippen had a way better game than Jordan did. Because when Pippen was on the floor, they were up 16 points. But when Pippen come off, Jordan only kept them up 2.
See, that doesn't take into the fact that Scottie Pippen
Like,
was
that's
on
your
and
advanced-
off.
that's your advanced analytics right there.
They would go, like, that's what they said last night. I'm glad that they had the head trainer on there at the time to talk about it. He was like, look, we would take Scottie Pippen back, work on him for 5 minutes just so he could play 5 minutes. And then when that would go up, we'd take him back, work on him for 5 minutes so he could play another 5 minutes.
The game Rodman came back to after wrestling, 6 points, 14 rebounds.
That's all he did.
14
That's
rebounds.
that was his job.
Yeah.
And he didn't care. He didn't care. If
Well, they-
Well, so we
Some
talked,
said he was probably the best on-ball defender in the league.
we were talking earlier
either him or Pippen, right?
because
Either
Andre
him or Pippen.
Or Jordan.
Andre hasn't
Yeah.
watched the series.
What?
He said he saw it the first time when it happened. So
Okay.
I don't think he understands that there was a lot more in-depth breakdown
Yeah,
right this
yeah,
time.
okay.
yeah.
He didn't just see what was happening on game day. You saw everything that led up to game day.
Well, I was about to point something else out. I just lost my train of thought on Andre there for a second. I'm looking at game 4. Kukoc, Pippen had 28 in that game. That was the game they went up 3-1.
You know, there's been a question that's been asked after seeing this. Has there ever been a player to embrace the Robin role to a Batman as good as Scottie Pippen did with Michael?
Yes, I got one example.
Who?
LeBron's first championship in Miami. He was not the best player on his team.
Some would argue.
True or false? D Wade was the best player on his first 2 championships.
Some would
argued.
argue that Dwayne took the back seat to LeBron.
I'm talking about the first championship.
Could be. It could be debatable.
But they gave LeBron the MVP.
Yeah, that's true.
Debatable.
And Andre
I
Iguodala
sus-
got
I
an
know.
MVP one time for playing defense
Dude,
on LeBron.
I want you to think
That's
about
what
that.
they gave it to him for. Curry won the MVP, had better numbers in the finals, won, and they gave the defensive guy the MVP. That's
And
like
guess
Dennis
what?
Rodman getting the MVP.
And that's what's so funny. You know, I will argue that Andre Iguodala, he did a okay job playing defense because LeBron still averaged 30 in that. So
Here's the MVP. He gave
MVP.
up 30 a game.
Didn't he have one game where he scored about
Something like that,
he
yeah.
had one like
So
And it might have been the game Curry didn't play well in, and they just
yeah.
held it against him. That was.
I want you to think
really,
about that.
He
And
doesn't play for Golden State anymore though. He's
Iggy's in Miami
he's somewhere else.
because he was with Memphis, refused to play for Memphis because he wanted to play for a contender and was traded to Miami.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
Tom has switched sides of the screen again.
Oh,
I'm
Tom
sorry.
likes to run. He runs from the camera. I don't know
run
why,
from
Tom.
the camera.
I don't know why, Tom.
No, I just
Just give him a good smile.
Depends on who. I just got to get my legs stretched out here a little bit. That's all.
I was trying to look up a championship year. Let's find it. Here we go.
Because then I was even thinking about it. I was
So
like,
the Heat's first championship, they beat OKC.
yeah.
So that's the one I was kind of
They beat-
alluding to. So remember, in 2011, they got smoked by Dirk, and then the next year they beat the Baby Thunder, and then the next year Ray Allen hit the shot to save them against the Spurs. So
And then the year after that, they lost the Spurs.
if Kyrie Irving and
See, that was the one I was wondering.
If Kyrie Irving and Ray Allen missed their shots,
Do they have a
LeBron's
championship?
1-8.
Technically, yes.
Are we still just? Is it still? Like, at what point do you draw the line and say you're no longer? You can't talk about you're the greatest. Like, so when Jordan won his 3, we said a lot of people said he was the greatest. Then he come back and win another 3-peat after the first 3-peat. So if you're the greatest then, and then win double what you already did in just 3 years coming back, like at what point do we so if LeBron, let's say if losses don't matter, and if he loses the next 4 finals, does that make him the GOAT? Is that the argument?
But it's
is that what we're
Think about it this
No,
way, though.
everybody argues that he's been to like 9 straight finals,
Think
and
about
I'm
it this
like,
way.
okay.
If Jordan hadn't quit to play baseball because the media was treating him so bad,
He might
would-
have
they
7.
He might have 8. He might have 8 in a row. 8? Can you imagine 8?
7
in a
or
row?
8.
That would never.
They
be
could have
touched.
9 in a row if Jerry Krause don't run
That's
them
what I'm
off
saying.
after the 9th year. So
I don't know.
Ifs
There
and
were
stuff.
some good teams in the late '90s, and they were getting a little
And
bit
I know,
older.
and I know it's easy to say they could have.
well,
or
they
what
won in
if,
'98, so there's only 1 year left. That was the strike year. That was the Spurs. So they had
And
to play
And
the
you know, that
Spurs.
was a good point. I can't remember who was on there last night made that point and said they were worried about him getting old, but the next season was only 50.
I think Michael
games.
Wilbon brought that up.
Wilbon
Krause
did.
and Krause and all them. They kept talking about how, and Reinsdorf said at the end of the show that they aged themselves and priced themselves out. They just won the championship last week, so now they're too old.
Well, see, that's what.
Shut up!
I mean, did you see how?
he did not. Want, he's
did you
the cheapest person.
listen?
ever.
Did
Yeah.
you
He
see
is
though?
just
Did you
cheap.
see how like Michael's face though when they handed him the iPad and because they said this is what Jerry Reinsdorf said about why the team
He was
broke
not
up.
happy
and
about
he
that.
and Michael was just like, well, I had never heard this before. You know, he's never talked about it. And
Yeah.
Michael listened to it and he was just like, if I'd have come, if I'd have come back, we all would have come back just on like 1 year deals just to try it again,
But
just to try and do it again.
Pippen might not have. He was mad. Pippen was mad.
Yeah, but
He
Michael
might
said, look,
not
Michael
have.
said Pippen would have been the hardest one to get back.
Yeah.
But if you could have negotiated it, he probably would have come back because Michael's there.
Should have gave him his money 3 or 4 years ago. Made him happy.
Skip Bayless made
How about
the,
Scotty made more money than Jordan did playing
in his
basketball?
career. Yeah,
Oh, I
had
can believe it, 'cause he
he
got
signed a
the,
$67 million contract to go
After
to
Jordan,
Houston.
because Jordan basically quit for another couple years, and then I don't know how much the Wizards paid him, but
But Skip
Yeah.
made the point this morning. He's like, why didn't Michael just say, well, get me a coach that's worth a damn, basically, that has coaching experience.
He didn't
and
want to play
decided
for
to
anyone
stay.
else.
he
other
said
than
he
Doug
wasn't going
Collins.
to play.
I know
for
he.
anybody
I know
else.
he said he didn't want to play for.
Could have brought back Doug Collins.
That's what Skip said. He said should have
Yeah.
brought back Doug Collins because Doug Collins loved Michael. And Michael loved
Yeah.
Doug.
Yeah.
And he made the point that people forget Michael took Doug with him to Washington.
Yeah.
So Pippen was traded to the Rockets for any guesses, anyone?
They traded him, Kerr, and they released Rodman and traded Kerr and traded.
They, I literally, I watched
He
this.
was traded.
I watched this yesterday, and it was for somebody, and the Spurs just got, or the Rockets got like 6 players.
He the trade for Roy Rogers. Not
The
the
cowboy?
Gunsmoke. They traded for a guy named Roy Rogers and a 2nd-round pick in the draft who ended up being Jake Voskuhl.
Oof.
So the Bulls traded Pippen to the Rockets for Jake Voskuhl and Roy Rogers.
I want you to think about that though. That Rockets team
How did
was
Barkley
Charles.
How did he get to the Rockets? Was he?
He said he was not playing for Phoenix again.
Okay.
He forced his way to a trade.
I want to
to
think
there.
about the,
So he was
the
traded.
Rockets.
If those three
had-
were on the same team 3 to 5 years earlier, that team's not. That's one of
oh
the
yeah,
greatest teams
Pippen,
ever.
Pippen, Barkley, and Olajuwon.
And you're skipping someone.
Gene Smith.
No, the shooting guard, the
I
one that
totally
actually
forgot.
won a championship with them.
Clyde.
Yes,
Oh,
your lineup was Barkley, Clyde, Pippen, and Olajuwon,
They were good.
and they got beat by David Robinson.
Yeah.
the Spurs.
Well, no, they got beat by damn Utah. too, or the Lakers. Like the West out there was tough during the early 2000s years. So, all right, let me try to think if there's anything else in the show last night. The Bulls stuff I kind of wanted to get to. It seems like there was one or two other things. Jordan's comments are always funny to me. The ones about Reinsdorf.
I'm gonna tell you what. I think this was a well done document, and I think it was needed for right now. I'm glad, I don't give ESPN much credit at all. I really don't like that network, but they did it. They did a good job. I've made it perfectly clear multiple times, but they did a good. This was one of the better ideas they had to move it up during this time, because Joy on Colin's show, Joy is like his co-host. She made a good point. She said, this was initially set to air during the NBA Finals. It was like supposed to play on the off days when teams were traveling back and forth between the finals. And she said, I don't think it would have had as much of an impact and people wouldn't have been so drawn to it if there was something else going on. So with there really being nothing going on right now and the draw that it had, so you had to just sit there and focus.
I think people would have watched it anyway. I think it's just a good story that needed to be told. So I guess I disagree with that a little bit. I just think that it would have been. It's like when they did the documentary on O.J. Simpson, like a few years back. People watched
People versus O.J. or whatever.
No, ESPN did a O.J. Made in America. Yeah, they did. And I think people would have.
The People versus O.J. was like a TV
right,
show.
That was like a TV show. Like ESPN did their own. Because I think it was a good story to tell.
ESPN, they previewed their next 30 for 30 about Lance Armstrong getting ready to come up. I don't know how I feel about that one. I mean, dude's just a cheater.
You just mentioned that name, and it's kind of like because of what he overcame to get where he was, and then
what he's gonna say is that, and he's right about it though, is that every single person in that sport was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how it is. Yeah, that's what started the steroid era.
Same thing with baseball.
They said, look, everybody, you were either doing it or you knew somebody who was doing it.
Did you see the preview to the McGuire Sosa documentary? McGuire said, I didn't even know who Sammy Sosa was until he hit 20 homers in June. Didn't even know who he was. He's been in the league so many years. Didn't have a clue who he was. And he's in the same division. And now he's white.
Yeah, he bleached.
He is?
He's bleached his skin, Sammy Sosa.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, and he blames the American media.
You wouldn't recognize him.
Sure, no, you won't recognize him.
If he walked in this room right now, you'd be like,
yeah, you can look him up. I promise you.
You'd almost be scared of you'd not even know who he was.
What's he doing?
Sick.
What's he doing now?
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know, but baseball has been very, very good to him. Now, what pissed me off about Sosa is he knew that he was full of it, and then he went into the. He took on every interview in America he could possibly interview when he was hitting those home runs. Okay, he goes into court and says, "My English not very good. I cannot answer the question."
Yeah, I remember that.
Shut up! Baseball's been very, very, very good to you for 5 years now. Now all of a sudden you can't speak English. Yeah. Shut up! Sosa was a liar on that. But anyway, that's supposed to come. I thought that would be interesting. The best documentary that would be ever, if they ever did it, would be the 90s Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, with the Coke House.
It's Hunter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
It's Hunter. It's called the White House. Let's get it right. Their place was the White House.
And NFL Films did The Great Wall of Dallas, which that was a pretty good one. So that sort of kind of, was a 90s documentary.
But Kevin doesn't like that because he said it takes away from Emmett.
Yeah, they're full of crap on the linemen.
But I watched the old, but before that, I watched the old, I can't remember what year it was. They were the Super Bowl where Dallas played Green Bay. And
that didn't happen.
I mean the championship game. Now you know what I meant. The championship game. Dang it, you know what I mean. It's like when I say the San Diego Chargers. Anyway, to watch Emmitt Smith run in that game, like you haven't seen him run. He was good. I mean, he had a good offensive line. That sucker was good. You can't just say it was all the offensive line. I mean, he was. You forget how good it was because you haven't seen him in a while.
Emmett, and I try to tell everybody he was a 9 or 9.5 at everything. Wasn't the fastest, but he was close to the fastest.
Was pretty, yeah.
I would only almost say, Tom, I want you to watch this play right here. This is Emmitt Smith play on your screen there. Now I want you to tell me how good a block in this line helped him.
Which one is it? You got it.
Click on Kevin Webb up the top.
I can't see.
All right, here's Emmitt Smith run against the Falcons, and watch how great of a job the offensive line did on this one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Falcons at once. Get off me!
Yeah. He was good, man. Yeah.
You know what else I would like to see
was
in a
good.
documentary form? I'd like to see the 80s to 90s Miami, the U.
That would be really good. So, real quick on Emmitt.
They did one on that.
Yeah, they did Catholics versus Cons.
No. There was the U Part 1 and the U Part 2.
Did they do
Was
the
there?
Did
Yeah.
they do the seventh floor crew?
Yes.
If that's the only thing that matters, as long as they talked about the seventh floor.
You had to-
That's the only. I haven't seen that thing because the only one
Yeah.
I've seen is Catholic
So,
versus Cons,
go-
Notre
go-
Dame versus
no.
Miami.
Go watch these Emmitt Smith highlights. Or the other day, they actually showed the game against San Francisco when they lost. And but go watch his highlights. Not to be amazed by him, which he's really good. His the leg bounce time. You watched Keyone prior this year. How many
Yeah.
times Keyone get hit where someone else may have fell over and didn't keep their feet? That's what Emmitt was just excellent at, is keeping his feet. The other thing he was excellent, if you'll watch the plays, Hunter, every time he's tackled, he falls forward.
Okay.
Every time he tackles, he falls forward. Emmitt did not go backwards. Barry Sanders went backwards. Emmitt would slide off the side, slide low. He would dive low. Whatever he would, he got one extra yard.
But Emmitt
And
was.
you can watch it.
Emmitt's not a small running back. Barry was
No.
smaller than Emmitt. And
They're
I
about
think it
the
was
same.
substantial.
They're actually about the size of the same.
I can
size.
remember
Really?
when
Yeah.
he played at Florida. Florida wasn't all that good. I mean, it was basically him. And they knew he was getting the ball. He'd still get 5
Was
or
he
6
there when
yards.
Steve Spurrier was a coach? It just started, or was that
Jeez.
before?
I
That
can't
was,
remember.
I think it was right before.
Right, I think it was before because
No, he left earlier because Spurrier told him he wouldn't. He didn't want him there.
Yeah,
Spurrier didn't
'cause
want
Spurs
Emmitt
gonna throw the
Smith.
ball because they were running the ball. I mean,
well.
that's basically all they had. And then Spurrier went there from. He was
another
at Duke.
one.
Yeah, he was at Duke.
Another one that they should do for this, if we just stick with football. I'm taking this because Colin did a list. He's like, what do we want to see? And I agreed with a lot of them. And the one that I was really intrigued with is Pete Carroll's USC football.
That
The one
would
with
be
Matt
that-
Leinart
yeah.
and Reggie Bush. I want to know. I want to know the ins and outs of the Reggie Bush situation
Pete
so
the-
bad.
Pete the cheat.
Emmitt was 5'9", 210. Barry Sanders 5'8", 205. So 1 inch and 5 pounds shorter for Barry Sanders. The thing about those teams, talk about the White House, is again Nate Newton, after this has happened, has been arrested twice so far, driving a bread truck with more weed than he weighs. Twice. I didn't say once, twice. So what was he doing during those days, Hunter?
Man.
The Cowboys just 5 or 6 years ago had a receiver, somebody that they had arrested because he was driving he got caught with $250,000 of weed driving across the country.
I thought there
It
was
one
a
of those-
guy literally
when it Lance
last
Dunbar
year.
or somebody like.
I thought there was a dude last year
Was
that
that
got
Dunbar?
arrested from somewhere.
Was that Dunbar?
No,
It was somebody like, I think one of those did that.
I don't
But
want. I don't want to hear the last name.
You know what
Dunbar.
else?
But the White House stories with Michael Irvin and the girls and everything, I'm telling you that would be very. Hearing Jimmy Johnson's take on some of that would probably be funny. Like
But he didn't care.
no, he did not.
Jimmy didn't care.
And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
And
the
Jerry
take-
turned
the
a blind
taste
eye
on
to
that-
That's why, like when you brought up that and a lot of the guys were criticized for what the Miami's antics when they scored, and they asked Jimmy John in the documentary. He said, "I don't care. We was winning." He's like, he didn't care. But then the next year, like the NCAA was going to crack down on it, and like they made all the teams watch this video. So you got to sit in here and watch all the don'ts, and basically it was Miami highlight. Realize that don't do this, don't do this. But he didn't. I mean, he didn't care. But what else I was going to say about that Green Bay game I was watching is how good Leon Lett was. It's like I forgot how good he was.
He was.
Man, he was good.
He was a lot to deal with.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was so big.
he was-
it's just so quick. It's
He's
like
dumb
man,
as a rock, but he
was good. I was like, man, I forgot how good these guys were. Because watching that, because the Cowboys have, let's face it, not
Yeah.
been good in a long time.
I've been trying to
And
think
just-
like if there would even be another NBA documentary I'd want to watch. The only one I'd probably say would be the Lakers.
No, Banana Boat. I want to know how 4 grown-ass millionaire men decide to get on a banana boat together.
No,
The whole
I could
documentary
care less.
should be about the banana boat.
Hey,
No.
the recent
don't know.
what year did the Cowboys go 12-4? How long has that been
With
What,
which quarterback?
Recent with Dak?
with Dak?
Well, it's been like
It's been-
2 years
he's-
ago.
he's been in
2
the
or
league for
3
4
ago.
years.
Did they lose in the first round of the playoffs?
he's only won one playoff.
Yeah.
Games. They haven't made it to an NFC Championship game since
They lost to the
95.
Rams.
They-
They got
But
curb stomped.
They gave a stupid stat about Dallas versus the NFC East and Dallas versus the rest of the NFL, and it's just so lopsided that because really, even that
Listen, until
their
Philadelphia-
playoff team they just not
Until
been good.
Philadelphia got good with Carson Wentz or
Yeah.
Nick Foles at court, whichever one you
Yeah.
want to say, the NFC East, that could have been a guaranteed 6 wins for the Cowboys.
There's not. They just haven't. but
Maybe
watching-
5 because they'll lose
right,
one
But
to
watching
Washington.
those teams back in the '90s, man, I was like, "Oh my God, these guys! I forgot how good they were.
All right,
they
we've
were
got
really good."
We've got some NASCAR to get to in just a minute, but
This is going to be a strongly Kevin because I know me and Tom did
Well,
not get to watch it.
hold on. What I'm going to do, we're going to finish the show with that.
Okay.
So we're going to have some fun right now with some Mount Rushmore. I want to finish
He
the
always
show.
does this to me.
I want to. Well, this is
It's easy, Tom.
He never gives me an easy one, and then he berates me.
we're doing 3 Mount Rushmores actually.
Ooh.
I've got the
All
notes
right,
here.
We got to think about it.
Y'all need paper? Anybody need paper?
No, I don't.
Pens? Anything to type on?
I think I've got my mind.
Okay, you've got your mind.
My
Hunter's
mind.
mind. I don't know how well your mind's going to work on this, but we're going to talk a little NASCAR in just a few minutes and a little bit, and a little bit more on Wednesday. My cousin Zach watched the race, and
I'm sorry I didn't get to
we'll
watch
make
it.
Sure
I
we'll
was
go over him.
attempting to play golf.
I'm going to give you my analysis in a little bit, and there's a reason nobody.
But-
I sent any text yesterday.
But
or
sports
nobody.
is back, so there you go.
All right. Here is my Mount Rushmore questions of the day. We're going to make 3 lists.
Trace. Okay.
This is not having to do with sports really, but I got this idea off something else. I
Ooh.
want to do this
Top
because I thought it was fun.
Mount Rushmore of tacos.
Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
How can you have more than like 2 or 3 tacos?
There's
fish,
there's
there's-
carnitas. I mean,
All right.
street tacos.
The Mount Rushmore of television theme songs.
Ooh.
Now wait a minute. We're gonna break them into 3 groups though because there's so many.
So this is the 3. This is what you mean by we're gonna have
I'm
3
gonna tell you the
different
3
ones?
groups.
Okay.
We have instrumentals.
Mm-hmm.
We have words with lyrics, and we have cartoon.
I like the cartoon.
Cartoon can be words or instrumental.
because I've already got 2 off the top of my
All
head.
right,
with
so I'm going to
cartoons.
name some nominations for some of these.
3.
I'm going to give a list of nominations. I could be missing some. Do not think this is my final
Actually,
list
I might
for
need to
anything.
type this
is
out
some
since
of the
we have
stuff I
this
got.
long.
Right. So if you want to type or anything, I'm just going to name some ones.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some instrumental nominations. The Andy Griffith Show.
Ooh.
Bonanza. Mission Impossible. Star Trek.
Wait, Mission Impossible is it a TV show or just a movie?
It's a TV show.
It was. Oh, I'm just used to.
Dun,
I'm just
dun,
used to.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just used to tell it to the movies.
Star Trek Next Generation. Not the first one, the Next Generation with Picard. Sanford and Son.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bum, bum, ba, da, ba, da, ba, bum, bum, ba.
I remember that. Hunter doesn't remember
Ready?
that.
I remember it, but like I have to think about some of these.
Yeah.
Knight Rider. Dun dun dun
Yeah.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun 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 dun
Then it picked up
dun,
a little bit. Yeah.
dun dun dun.
Yeah. I haven't watched that in a long time, man.
Some with words. Oh no, I skipped one. Dallas.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
That's-
dun. Yeah.
So those are my
instruments.
Those are some of my instrumental nominations. Now most of these are pre 2000 for the most part for my stuff. My wife said Game of Thrones. I'm like, I don't know what to say to you.
That would be on mine. Never mind. I had to think. You said that. I'm just like.
Does
I
that
know
have
it's-
words or no words?
No words.
Then it's not better than
instrumental.
any of the ones I just said.
I don't know if but
This
see,
is
if
Mount
you-
Rushmore.
But look,
Now, I had to explain to her
have
Mount
you-
Rushmore.
Have
We
you
don't take-
seen though?
but
Have
we-
you seen Game of Thrones?
Hunter, we don't take George Washington off to put on Reagan. That's not how Mount Rushmore works.
You don't
What's
take
your
you don't
point?
take Washington off to put on like Millard Fillmore, man. You just don't do that.
Okay. that's where you blow up the mountain next to it and then build on.
All right, here we go. Here's some.
And that's Mount Rushmore too.
Here's some nominate. Oh, I did skip one. I forgot 90210, Tom. That song was
Oh, man.
very, very known. If you heard that song, every woman over the age of 30 hears that song. They know exactly what's happening, right?
I remember in college we used to have 90210 parties. Like everybody had their seat. 90210.
All right, now here are the nominations for the TV shows with words.
Do we have to just go off the nominations?
No, I'm
Okay.
just nominating to get some out there so we know.
Good, because I might not know a lot of them. I really didn't watch a lot of like TV shows.
Spider-Man. Tom, you remember that one? Spider-Man.
Yeah. Spider-Man does everything a spider can. Yeah.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig. I don't think you.
God
Do you know
almighty.
what I'm talking about,
That's from
Tom?
Family
From
Guy.
the-
No, it's from
No,
the
it's from
Simpsons movie.
Yeah. That's from-
He's
Spider
got him
Pig.
fucking.
Okay.
He's got him up on the ceiling. Does
Yes,
whatever
I
a spider pig
All
does.
right. Next nomination, The Jeffersons. Moving
Moving
on
on
up
Moving on up.
to the east side.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy
Wow.
Days. Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Wednesday, Thursday, happy days.
Yeah.
Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yep, I remember. Yep.
Family Matters
Yeah.
with Urkel.
Yeah.
In that same vein, Full House.
I was about to say, it's Full House is one on my.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to? That's all I can.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Newsman, the paper pool.
Tom, you might remember this
Man,
one. I'm
TV.
90% sure Hunter doesn't. Do you remember A Different World?
I remember the show. I don't know if I can remember the song.
The opening was a pretty catchy. If you remember, they had like 8 different scenes, so they danced into each scene basically with all the characters.
Yeah. I didn't really watch that show. It's been a
I remember
long
that one a
time.
lot. This was my mom's favorite, so I had to put this one in it. Green Acres.
Green Acres is the place for me.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Yeah.
Farm living is the life for me. Bow, bow.
What's the one where it's the big family, and they're like
8 is enough.
the Pains. It's not the Pains of them. God.
That's
Yeah,
8.
are they on there?
The Brady Bunch.
The Brady,
Brady
Bunch.
Bunch,
Yeah.
It's a nomination.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's the one I was thinking.
The
of.
Monkeys is a nomination, obviously. That's
Hey,
their
we're the
song.
monkey.
Here's
People
some-
say we monkey around.
I got some more. How about this, Tom? Baywatch.
Yeah.
If you hear that song, you know what TV show's
Yeah.
coming on.
Yeah.
The opening,
Yeah. I remember that.
the dramatic beats.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be on Mount Rushmore of words. So I'm reserving this spot no matter what anybody says. I know you aren't going to poo-poo me, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. There is no discussion. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no discussion.
Sit on my throne.
Am I right on that one?
Dun, 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 dun,
Everybody knows
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Well, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down.
Yeah.
another nomination, Tom. This is one of my favorites. Zach would put this one on his. This is his favorite TV show. The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Just the good old boy.
From Waylon Jennings.
I used to watch that, or I was still living in Ohio.
The
I used
Good
to
Old
watch
Boys was the name of the song. Waylon Jennings. That's
that. Yeah.
That's let's see, Spider-Man, Jeffersons, Happy Days, Dukes of Hazzard, Fresh Prince, Different World, Green Acres, Baywatch. Now, are you guys ready to do this? Any other things you can think of or nominations? I'm up to any of them. Like,
Did you do
I was
any
just typing
nominations
stuff
for
in.
cartoons? Because I've got 2 of them.
Well, cartoons were. I skipped one of the cartoons. Simpsons.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
I
one.
know the Yeah, everybody knows the
The Looney Tunes.
I didn't have Looney Tunes on mine as a
That-
nomination, but
Is definitely going. That's going on the.
That's
That's got to go on Mount Rushmore. Like that's Mount Rushmore. That one right there is.
you can put
Yeah.
it there just because everybody will recognize it. But the 2 I had for like nominations was Scooby Doo and the Jetsons.
Scooby Doo, I like. Jetsons, I don't like that as much as I do the Flintstones, probably. And they came on at the same time on
They
Saturday
did come in the
mornings.
same time.
Flintstones was a nomination.
They
My
don't
wife
even do
had.
cartoons on Saturday morning.
No, they
quit
don't.
that.
They don't even do the real MTV anymore. Believe it or
Oh,
not.
I know.
All right, so let's start.
They stopped doing that like towards the tail end when I started to get into like middle school. They stopped doing real MTV because I would actually get up and watch like the music videos.
Well,
of
MTV
the
is
day.
the first ones to start doing all the reality TV.
Yeah.
And
that's all.
all right,
it's
let's
ever
start
done.
with instrumentals. Let's all name one, and then we'll discuss possibly the 4th one.
Did
So,
you have one on there that was set in stone, or was that only for the words? Fresh Prince.
Words was fresh, and I can just be mine if you want to. Y'all can nominate something else, but I that was going to be my set in stone one. My instrumental set in stone is Andy Griffith's Show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Go with it. Roll with it.
Now, let's go back to instrumental for you guys too. We've got again Bonanza, Mission Impossible, Star Trek, Sanford and Son, Knight Rider, Dallas, 90210 are the instrumental nominations.
I would have put Sanford and Son.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
So y'all both feel good on Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been my choice besides the Andy Griffith. So now you're basically looking for the most iconic songs on those. Now, Tom, before I originally set these out, I put my own final four on these just to see what we guys would go with. My last two nominations, and like I said, you guys can shoot them down, no big deal, is Dallas and the Star Trek Next Generation. Either one of them you can shoot down, I don't care. Those were my nominations. Bonanza, everybody knows that, and everybody knows Mission Impossible, but most of those people were older than me when that came out.
Yeah.
The Batman theme song might be even more popular than that, but it's got words and stuff. But I'm looking for stuff instrumental.
Between those two,
You want to nominate the A-Team?
Well, I
on
would've-
this?
Oh, yeah.
I would have nominated
Yeah,
Mission Impossible
Okay.
just because that is kind of iconic
But
now. Because of the movies really have taken it to another level.
Dallas was such an iconic show, though. Dallas was so iconic.
You can take Dallas. You guys can both take Dallas. I would just, for me, I would put Mission Impossible.
When they shot JR.
So let's go Dallas. And then on the fourth one, he likes Mission Impossible. I like Star Trek.
I like Knight Rider.
Tom likes Knight Rider. That's Andre's favorite show of all time is Knight Rider. So if he came down here, he would broke the tie with that one.
Yeah.
So we've got those three. We always have a problem coming up with that fourth one. We'll come back to that one. Now let's go to words. This is going to be the fighting.
Full House.
So Fresh Prince was the one that we put in for sure.
Full House. I'm putting Full House as a nomination.
I just put that on there to be nice to people. I tell you what.
It's
about-
one of
how
those
about
things where,
Mount
like
Payless?
you hear
Or pass less.
you hear it and it's just
Right.
it's stuck in your head for the rest of the day.
Are we going to put Jefferson's on the Mount Rushmore?
I think that's definitely
Moving on
gonna
up.
go on there. Yeah. Moving on up.
All right. Let's go Jefferson's and Fresh Prince for sure. Let's get a consensus. Tom, would you have? I say no on Full House. Do you want yes or no, yay or nay on the Full House vote?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that leaves Happy Days, Dukes of Hazzard, Family Matters, Green Acres, Baywatch, and anything new. I mean,
Game of Thrones. Holy sh!
Now,
No, that was an instrumental. Never mind.
Now, considering that we have a show and we have a music that comes out to every day, we could nominate that song,
Yeah, you know
the Playmaker song.
Shock Joxx. Shock Joxx has got the best music out there. We do have a
I
show.
rewatched Playmakers about a year ago. I rewatched the whole thing. I did.
So, Tom, what are you thinking or leaning towards with Happy Days,
I
Dukes
mean,
of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard.
You want to go Dukes?
I mean, come on.
You got any? I would say Dukes too. You got anything against Dukes?
I've got nothing against Dukes.
My four were Jefferson's, Happy Days, Dukes, and Fresh Prince.
That's pretty solid.
But like I said, I'm open to Baywatch, maybe Family Matters, Full House, anything else that we can think of.
I think it's
The
pretty
Jetsons, the Flintstones, but those are cartoons.
solid. Cartoons.
So you
But
want
they
to go
do
with
have
the
words
four
in
that I
them.
wrote?
That's
yeah,
fine.
Cartoons can have whatever.
Just do the four. It's
So
fine.
we'll do Dukes and Happy Days then. All right. Now the tunes. I'm going to save my nomination for last. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to tell you why, but we'll go from there. Tom had Looney Tunes.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. Now, we've got Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo.
Remember Scooby-Doo? There was a couple slightly different versions of
Yeah.
it. There's one that was a little longer.
My kids watch Scooby-Doo a lot. What I like is that they run the same soundtrack on, like, so if they had whatever, all the cartoons from 85 to 90, they would have the same soundtrack throughout the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I can sit there and listen to the show
And know what's
and
happening.
predict the music that's coming next based on what just happened. Like when they do the intros, they switch off to the first part of the show. It goes dun dun doo 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 doo, and I hear that in my head all the time when they watch
One
it.
of the best Scooby-Doo episodes ever is them and the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh yeah, Curly Neal and all that.
Yep.
I remember that.
All right, all right. Any other Flintstones, Jetsons?
Technically, you can put The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's what.
Is that the one that you wrote?
No, I didn't write that in. I've got something else.
It's kind of an adult one, but I loved the Family Guy intro. As soon as I heard it, I knew exactly what it was. It seems today that all
I was
you
trying to
see
remember what it was.
Yeah.
is violence on movies and sex on TV.
Yeah, I've watched that pretty intermittently, but they
But
just
where are
What about
those
Captain
good
Planet?
old-fashioned
they have
Captain
such
Planet?
Tom remembers that one.
Family Guy.
Wait. The
Fa-
Magic School Bus. They could always play that, and I would always know what it was. But that was more of like it's like ingrained in the back of my brain from school, from like growing up for school. They would always have the Magic School Bus.
Family Guy has like a cult following, though. I mean, it's
Oh,
just,
it does. It's
Yeah,
like
like-
the Simpsons cult following.
I like Family Guy way better than Simpsons. However, The Simpsons predicts the future, and I question very much what is going on.
Question what is happening at Fox.
That stuff is weird. How The Simpsons just
Well,
consistently nail
the
stuff.
thing with the virus predictions that we've seen a lot, like I think a lot of people knew there's been a lot of that lab in China's been there a long time, and people have feared for a long time that something might happen, and here it is. So I don't really think it's a bold prediction.
Another one, but they're both Seth MacFarlane's creations. It's either Family Guy or American Dad.
I like Family Guy way better.
I do
American,
too.
I think American Dad is funny.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
You can do anything with Roger.
Right. For Family, I do like, but I like Family Guys better.
I don't know. This is difficult because it's like, do you keep with what you said about Mount Rushmore and you don't replace like the George Washingtons, like the ones of old, or do you just go with the ones that are new and you hear it today and you know automatically what's on?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
True. Ninja Turtles.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows. Are you ready, kids? That's SpongeBob.
Yeah,
It's SpongeBob.
who lives in a pineapple? Under
Ooh, that's
sea.
the nomination. I'm not a SpongeBob fan at all, but that is a.
We can't be
Ace.
friends. I love SpongeBob.
Well, SpongeBob.
I know
always
what
had-
SpongeBob is.
I mean, it was pretty obvious that SpongeBob was maybe a little,
SpongeBob had
Yeah.
moments where
Yeah.
Nickelodeon could do what they did with this show called Cat Scratch, and when they canceled it on Nickelodeon, they said it was because it was over the age group they were trying to hit.
Yeah.
And SpongeBob has those moments too, where it's kind of like now that you're older and you rewatch it, you're like, oh shit.
What about
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead, Tom.
Oh,
Do you remember the
Butthead.
Animaniacs?
All right.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
That's Andre's favorite cartoon.
The Animaniacs. I told my buddy because we were talking about names
That's
the
a
other day.
good one.
I was like, dude, have you ever seen the Animaniacs?
that's
And
a
he
good
said,
one.
what? I was like, you did not just tell. You did not just say what to the Animaniacs.
It was about like 7 or 8 years ago. They temporarily brought back Beavis and Butthead. I
Yeah.
watched a
Yeah,
few of
they
those.
did.
All right, I got another nomination, Tom. You'll like this one. DuckTales.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's been a
DuckTales.
while.
Woo!
Yeah, that's been a
Ooh.
while back.
Everybody loves
Ooh.
some DuckTales.
Well, when I was a little kid, I remember they had a show called Muppet Babies.
Oh, yeah.
Muppet Baby. I remember to watch that.
Did Mickey Mouse
How
have
about-
anything like?
How about not babies, kids, but Howard Mandel show with the little boy driving around on his. Do you not remember that? He had a cartoon, Howie's World, is what it was called.
Can't
Bobby's
remember.
World is what it's called. It's Bobby's World.
Yeah.
And he had a little boy
yeah.
driving around on a 3-wheeler.
Here's one for you that you probably forgot. Speed Racer. Go Speed
pretty good.
Racer. Go Speed
All right,
Racer.
I want you to choose.
You could say almost anything that they play on Boomerang
So are
now,
you-
because even Tom and Jerry.
Are you still feeling good about Scooby Doo then on the top 4?
Oh, absolutely.
Tom?
You know,
Yeah,
as soon as you
everybody
hear the
knows
first
that.
line,
All
dun,
right.
dun, 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 Scooby
So-
Dooby Doo.
Yeah.
All right, so I want
yeah,
y'all to pick the next ones then. The next one, and I'm going to pick the last one. So you've got, what about Charlie Brown?
Dun,
You-
dun, dun, dun,
Anim-
dun, dun,
An-
dun.
Animaniacs, DuckTales.
Animaniacs is so good.
I like all those.
the
Y'all
Animaniacs.
two have to choose this one because I'm going to choose the last one.
Animaniacs has one of the best like songs that like a
Yeah.
cartoon's ever created because it was the one where they teach you about the states. Ah, I love that song. It's great. I think every like elementary school should play that to teach the kids the United States or like the
See,
states
but
of America.
I kind of like that. Meet George Jetson.
Yeah, I like it. And the Flintstones,
Flintstones.
brother. But I can't separate those two.
Jay.
What between that and the Flintstones?
Because they came on the
It's,
right back and back
Flintstones.
from each other, so
Yeah.
you knew both songs
Yeah.
when they came out.
Yeah.
I would almost nominate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Which one was that? That was Looney Tunes.
Everybody knows that one.
Yes. What are you thinking, Tom?
Yeah, but what was Tom
So
and
which
Jerry?
which two have we put on there?
We've put Looney Tunes and Scooby Doo, and we've got Ninja Turtles, Charlie Brown, Animaniacs. We've got DuckTales.
You're pretty solid with the Animaniacs, though. I mean, I think it's pretty
Mighty
good.
Mouse.
I loved Animaniacs.
I think we can put that one on there.
What about Yogi Bear?
Yeah, I mean,
He-Man.
You going with Animaniacs?
I think that'd be a good one.
I think it's a good one. Let's run with the
He-Man.
Animaniacs.
I didn't-
He-Man.
I will say I did not have Animaniacs down as would probably be a Mount Rushmore, but
They're close.
I don't hate it.
They
It's
That's the
can-
thing.
dude, it's damn good if
Well,
you think about
listen,
it.
I like that way more than I like the Full House. I'll say that.
Yeah.
All
Didn't
right.
Pinky and the Brain have a really good one too?
They're pinky
in the
they're
brain.
pinky in the brain, brain, brain.
What are we going to do today? Brain, same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
All right, here's my nomination for last tune. It is an adult one, but I had to do it. South Park.
Going down
Do you know the word? Wait a minute. Do you know the words to it?
I wasn't a big South.
Do
Park
y'all
fan.
know the word? And here, Tom, there's only one reason this makes it. Do you know the words?
I'm going down South Park.
That's the
It's
key. All right, y'all ready?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna read them to you.
Fuck your- it's- I
Shut
wasn't-
Now, do you know
Can't say
who?
that.
Now, you know who the band was that did it?
No, I don't know who the band is.
Primus.
I don't know who that is.
It's a heavy metal band. I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time. Colin Stango, friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation. Then Primus, going down to South Park, gonna leave my woes behind. Then Cartman, ample parking day or night, people spouting howdy neighbor. Primus says, heading up to South Park to see if I can't unwind. And here's the greatest line in cartoon, any type of show history. Y'all ready? This is Kenny. Now, y'all remember Kenny, right?
Yeah, I remember.
You killed Kenny. You bastard.
Now, now, do you remember how he talked?
It's
Did you understand what I just said? All right, y'all ready? I'm gonna read it Kenny style. Do you know what I said?
No.
Tom?
No, I do not.
I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud. This is Kenny's line in that song. I like girls with big fat titties. I like girls with deep vaginas.
Oh, no.
I can't make that up. Yes, tell me that's not the best song ever. People don't even know it. It's on TV every night.
Oh my gosh. Are they still making new ones?
Yes, that is on
Yes.
TV.
That
Yeah.
show's been around like 20 years. It's so terrible.
That's all, but it's so
I mean, it's
funny.
just terrible.
Like
man.
that's the name. That's in the opening song.
Tom,
Kenny.
me and you were thinking about good household,
That's
you
what
know,
I was
TV
talking.
shows.
That's
Some
terrible.
you hear the intro of the cartoon,
sorry. I
and you're
told y'all
thinking
it's
it's going to be
coming.
a good time.
I warned
and
you.
here we are talking
I warned
such
you.
vulgarness.
Oh,
I
man.
warned
It
you.
is a vulgar
You will not
show.
hear that on Saturday
I know
Sports
It
Talk.
is a vulgar
I know
show.
it's vulgar.
You will not hear that on Saturday.
I mean, I want
Sports
you to
Talk.
think about that. We talked about the Animaniacs, and then we go to South
Yeah,
Park.
there we go. We just took a
Yeah.
dark
That's a little bit
turn.
of a jump.
Now, the Animaniacs were probably the first ones to tread on those lines.
The
They did tread
Animaniacs,
on some lines.
they had some innuendos
Bugs
you
Bunny
had
was
to pay
pretty. Bugs
attention
Bunny was
to.
pretty good, smart ass too, and
Yeah.
a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. I liked in the old cartoons where somebody did something stupid and they turned into an ass.
Yeah.
So
That
he's,
was actually pretty cool.
so the seasons. So
What's-
I can't read these. So it has notes. So in some of the seasons they change some of the lines. So
Right.
I'm not gonna read that out loud. So now we don't.
Right, let's
I'll read those to y'all after the show.
after
But
the
let me
show.
just put it this way: that goes on the Mount Rushmore with a picture of Kenny.
with a picture of Kenny.
That's what it goes. It's Kenny,
Terrible.
Bugs, Scooby Doo, and who do we put for the Animaniacs?
You put all four of them.
You put all of them?
You put all of them.
I would put the Brain, maybe Pinky. I don't know what you think.
No, you put the four Animaniacs.
We never figured out the instrumental.
Well,
one.
I forgot what their names was. What?
We never got the instrumental. We still had Andy Griffith, Sanford and Son, and Dallas. Tom,
That's what I
You
said.
had Knight Rider. He had.
I had Knight Rider.
I had Star Trek.
Because I had Dallas and Knight Rider. What I would have.
You're not going to put Full House, so I'm out of it.
No, we're not putting Full House. Sorry.
I'm out of it.
No, that's what I thought.
Over for
Wacko.
Full
That was
House.
his
Wacko,
his
Lacko, and
damn
Dot.
yeah. His
Wacko?
damn name was Wacko.
Was it Wacko something and Dot?
Was
it Jacko?
I know one of them was Dot. That was the girl.
I'm gonna agree with Tom. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go Knight
Yakko,
Rider.
Wacko, and Dot. That's right. Yakko,
Even though I
Wacko,
like
and
Star
Dot.
Trek Next Generation better, but I'll go Knight Rider.
Yeah, the first thing it said, Yakko is a loquacious, wise-cracking smart aleck, aka he's a smart-ass.
The words that they use.
The word I know, the loquacious. What a name!
I can't wait to read these Kennies to you.
But for real, for those of you that haven't seen it, The Animaniacs is great.
Right.
It
All
is
right. Let me
great. If you
wrap
haven't
up
seen it,
our
watch
Mount Rushmores for everybody. Just to
This
end-
was
end
on
this up.
TV theme songs.
TV theme songs. Our cartoons were Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo, Animaniacs, and South Park. Our shows with words: Happy Days, The Dukes of Hazzard, The Jeffersons, and The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Instrumentals:
I'd say we'd play that.
Knight
But we'd
Rider.
be kicked off so fast.
Dallas, Sanford and Son, and The Andy Griffith Show. Quick note: The Andy Griffith Show is not actually an instrumental song.
Take down your fishing
There you
pole.
go.
Meet
fishing.
me at the fishing hole.
They took that out for
Yeah.
the. That was in season 1. They had the actual words, and
Yeah.
they took them out after.
Yeah, they took 'em out.
After the season,
Take-
or it might have been just the pilot. But everybody knows that when you hear somebody whistling,
Everybody knows it was Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Andy Griffith. Yeah, Gamer,
it
that's where Gamer was. All right, real quick, finish up the show. Let's talk a little NASCAR to end it up.
Yep.
Can I slip one thing in?
Yes, go ahead.
They're going to let the OTAs begin with football with restrictions.
That's exactly, yeah. They are, and Governor, was it Cuomo? Yeah, Cuomo encourages. Cuomo, however you want to
Cuomo.
say it. Well, Cuomo, whatever. Either way, he encourages New York athletic teams to reopen. He does.
Yeah,
So
well, he knows.
that's going to be, he knows that they need it, but I'm still thinking it's going to be tough. I don't know if they get any games in. He might let them get in practice, but I don't know if they
Yes.
have any games in the state of New York.
Well, speaking of football, Hunter, Ben Roethlisberger is back throwing footballs to teammates, and he went ahead and got a haircut, and he shaved.
Oh, well, I'm glad he cleaned himself up.
Breaking
My
news!
God.
Breaking news!
It is actually on the front page of ESPN.
Yeah, I know. He said he wasn't gonna shave or cut his hair until he started throwing footballs again, and he threw it one of his teammates, and now he's gonna get it cut, shaved down, and get ready to.
You know what else
To make
is
a
big
Super Bowl
in
run.
New York news for sports? The fact that DeAndre Baker and his buddy Quentin Dunbar had to go and steal.
I've not read a single word about any of those.
You
things.
haven't?
I've not. I honestly have
Oh
not.
my God, that's a story for Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh my word, we would get in. The fact is, if I'm not mistaken, the number is 4. I think there are 4 NFL athletes that have been arrested so far because of gun charges, and 2
Yeah,
of
it's
them,
been bad,
and 2
yeah.
of them were because they stuck somebody up and stole jewelry off of them. I'm like, bro, act like you ain't got millions of dollars right now.
And see, y'all two over here wanting these baseball players to take a pay cut. They're gonna have to start robbing people.
No, no.
They're gonna have to start holding people up.
No. See, because that's what I don't understand. It's like, you didn't have to do any of this. What happened to staying at home, man?
Chargers-
You'd have just stayed at home.
Chargers coach Anthony Lynn says they considered Cam, but they like their own quarterbacks.
Yes, and he talked about some Division II quarterback that they have as a backup. And Tyrod Taylor said, we liked both of them. And he was like, and we knew we could take a quarterback at 6, so I like our quarterback room.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
they do. All right, NASCAR.
NASCAR.
The iRacing series is finally over and back to real racing.
I don't like that it's over. I think it should be something that they still do on like a
It's not
Thursday or
over,
Friday.
over. The Xfinity and truck guys are doing it.
Okay.
So the Xfinity and truck guys are going to continue.
Cool.
I think they're actually doing a Friday night race. I did see something. I'm not.
Cool.
I don't know the
Did
exact
you
details.
think it was weird? Because when I
Yes.
was, I'm just saying. Do you know what I'm asking?
No.
I'm gonna say. Wait, did you just read my mind right now?
No.
Are you finishing my
thoughts.
sandwiches? Oh, no, it's not
Sandwiches.
sandwiches.
Hot
But
dog.
obviously I'm friends with Jesse, and he races Xfinity. But we were talking about it. Me and my buddies were all friends with him, and we were on the golf course, and he was like, Jesse doesn't race until Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, do you guys not think it's weird that they didn't run like truck and Xfinity before the Cup race and they're
Right.
racing it after.
I'm 100% confused about why they wouldn't just keep a regular schedule. But here's what I've got.
See, that's what
here-
I was confused about.
Here's what I figured. They're doubling up the races.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Are they doubling up Xfinity races too?
No.
Okay.
But
Okay.
here's what they're doing. Instead of having races on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're doing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then rest Thursday, Friday or whatever, then get back to the other track. So 'cause
Saturdays
you got
and
to
then
go,
go
you got to
Sundays.
go to a different track on Sunday.
Mhm.
So they're instead of traveling, because they got to run the races on Wednesday, I think it was a travel thing basically for everybody. So they reversed that to put the trucks aren't running this week, but they will run in Charlotte. So nobody's racing today, then trucks tomorrow, and then
Xfinity
Cup. Yeah, Xfinity tomorrow, then Cup on Wednesday.
Okay.
Um,
I just thought that was weird that they flip flopped the whole organizational way that they usually go about it. Where it's truck, Xfinity, then Cup race. I was just like, that's kind of weird. Why did you flip flop like that?
Yeah.
Usually it's kind of like a build up. Like, yeah,
It's
we
just
watched this.
strange Yeah, strange times.
right. So let me give you
Your synopsis.
of what happened yesterday.
I heard Kyle Busch got caught cheating. Imagine.
Well, yeah. Besides that, Hunter, on the final lap,
Professionalism, Tom.
Sorry.
on the
Thought it was turned off.
on the final lap of segment 1, Jimmy Johnson
Mm-hmm.
is leading the race. I'm about to start. Go about to crack a beer, put my feet up, boys. It's gonna be a good day.
Somebody wrecks.
Jimmy Johnson. Wow. Fucking leading the race.
That usually doesn't happen. What do you do? Wreck with a lap car?
Yes.
It usually doesn't happen.
Yes.
Or was he mad that the lap car didn't get out of his way?
Jimmy doesn't cuss other drivers, but you could read it in his undertone that he wasn't that happy with how it happened. So basically, from my vantage point, just sitting there watching the race, having a good time. My kids, I let them watch the first 25, and then they go play with their cars and do whatever, and I bring them back and watch the end. I just sent them out. Jimmy wasn't even leading yet. He was like 4th. He was running good. Hendricks was 4 of the top 10 cars. Oh, it's looking nice,
Yeah,
dude. Looking nice.
I saw Jesse tweeted. He said the Chevys look really good today, and then like 30 minutes later, he
No.
was like, "I rescind that."
It got so bad.
He's like, "Can I take this back?"
It got so bad. So Jimmy ends up passing Bowman because Bowman got behind a lap car. Jimmy dove underneath them both and got around them. So with the last basically 2 or 3 laps, Johnson's now in the lead. We're sitting here in Darlington. This is a track where if you got a fast car, you can win. So like, this isn't some just BS. This isn't. They've got good cars. Chevy's back. Okay. So I'm getting pumped there, and McReynolds or one of them. They sit there and they go, well, only got 1 lap to go. Something they need to just cruise on in here for the final lap. And really, Johnson had a 3-second lead on whoever's behind him, basically. He catches the last lap car down on the final lap. So you got 2 choices. Lap this guy and race hard and lap the guy, or he lets you go, or he's going to try to stay on the the lead lap because this is the last lap of the thing. So I don't know if he realized that, or what was going on between the two. One didn't do what they were supposed to. But the guy, Boucher, in front of him, he drove in every lane. From the turn 1 all the way around to the other turn, he was in every lane at some point. And so Jimmy was almost going back and forth on which damn lane I'm going to take. He comes down low, so Jimmy's like, well, I'm going back high. When he went back up high, Boucher goes back up high. So when Boucher went back up high, he caught his left rear. Boucher checked up. I guess he thought he was going to move high and let Johnson by. I think what Boucher thought was when Boucher went down, Jimmy went down too. I think Boucher lifted to let him go by. Jimmy was already, hey, this dude's went up and down twice. He went back at the outside when he did. They both went out. Catches him in the butt, checks him up. What knocked him out was when he slid across the track, he hit the inside wall and knocked his engine in. So the 7-time maybe greatest driver we've ever seen wrecked while leading
That's rare.
into another guy.
Early.
So let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I said
Early.
the F word as loud as I possibly ever could in my life with the garage door down. I still think my neighbors might have heard me.
Oof.
Because, I mean, I just, you're sitting there watching the race, you set your drink down, you got your food, your snack. I mean, I'm leaning back to put my butt in the chair.
He's ready to watch. He's ready to watch
I'm ready
Jimmy
have a good day. And before my ass hit the seat, he wrecked.
Before he could even get situated, Jimmy's day was done.
I had just got my kids to settle down and leave me the hell alone, Tom, for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And he wrecked. And my wife, honest to God, had just left to go to the grocery store. So I'm sitting here by my damn self going, what am I doing? I came here to watch this race, and what are you? Oh,
Are you the type of
NASCAR
NASCAR fan that as soon as your man wrecks, you're done watching?
No, but I almost did. I was so mad. I don't turn it I'm not invested in it at all when he's out. Like when he's in, I'm strategizing with him. Let's do this. Let's win. Go here. You're watching track times. When he's out, I'm like, I'm pulling against people. Is what I'm.
It's
really
kind of
doing.
like I am. I pull for Cleveland and against other teams.
Everyone else, yeah. So you don't understand. I'm pulling for Johnson. The other people I would like to see win, the 43 car. I do anything more to see the 43 car win again. I was pulling for Kenseth yesterday. His return to NASCAR. He didn't have a sponsor. He returns after he takes over Kyle Larson's spot.
They did pretty good.
He finished 10th.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Larson's our politically incorrect person.
Right.
As of right
he is
now,
the one
yes.
that he's racing in World of Outlaws with his own. He owns his own cars and teams in that. So that's not affected by the NASCAR sanctions. So yeah, and then Newman, I was trying to figure out where he finished. He had a pretty decent day too, for the most part. 15th from Ryan Newman after what we thought could have been a deadly crash. So the final wins. Harvick won. And so he's talking about Hendricks, also the other thing they made. Chase Elliott wrecked. No, not Chase Elliott. Byron wrecks. Now, Knaus is Byron's crew chief, right? Am I right about that? Let me make sure.
Is he the one that...
Chad Knaus. Let me make sure I'm on him. So what the announcers, what they do, 24. So right after Johnson wrecks, the announcers, they got all their stats and stuff like that, and they come out and they say... something about, well, it's good to see the Hendricks guys were running good today. And then they come out with a stat that Jimmy, now this is why Jimmy was right before Jimmy wrecked, because this is why they said the stat, was that neither Jimmy or Chad has won a race since they split up. So they say that out loud. I swear it wasn't 2 laps later, Jimmy wrecks. 5 laps later, Byron wrecks. So they said it on the telecast. Neither one of these guys have won without the other. 10 minutes later, they're both out. And he's talking about Twitter. Everybody on Twitter's like, Hendricks is running good. Everybody's like, whoops.
It's one of those things where it's an announcer's jinx. It's always, they're always like, if he hits this, they win the game. Talking about a field goal. And then what does he do? He shanks it far left.
He took out 2 cars with 1 jinx, Hunter.
He hasn't missed a free throw in 25 attempts.
Yeah, game on the line, and he's shooting. Hey, but here's the good thing: he's a 95% free throw shooter. Yeah. Well, guess what? That 5% hit, buddy.
Guess what? The mailman don't deliver on Sundays.
There you know.
He was 0 for 2.
He doesn't deliver.
Golly, the announcer. As soon as they both wrecked. They were the first 2 cars out after that. Like, boom, boom, here comes those 2. Good job,
there
guys.
goes the Chevrolet.
Like, y'all just announced they're doing so good. So
bye, Chevy.
Them 2 went out, so 24 is kind of our backup car in the family. We're going to pull for him. Really, 43 is our other one, then 24.
Who's driving 24?
William Byron.
Man, that was Jeff Good Jordan's car.
Right.
They should have retired.
So that was my grandma. They don't retire numbers. In
they don't, or else they would have retired 3 and 43.
Who's driving the 3?
Dylan, Austin Dillon.
It's his grandson.
Richard Childress' grandson, not Earnhardt's grandson. Richard Childress', yeah. So, it ends up with Harvick winning. Now, Harvick had a good car, and what Harvick has is a good crew chief. He's a friend of, I'm friends with his brother-in-law, and they had their pit stop was the very last one on pit row. So, based on you can time it out. Like, think about it, Tom. If you're slowing down into your stall and speeding up, and you're in the middle, there's time in there probably you're losing something. So they pit on the very far end. So he comes in at full speed, rides all the way in, brakes, and then when he accelerates out, he doesn't ever settle into a speed. He was at the end, so he just accelerated straight through the line. So he beat a couple guys off just on that.
Is there not a speed limit in the pits?
Yes, there is. Okay. But what it is, it's timed. The segments are timed. They don't have a radar gun. They've got time segments. So if you get through each segment if it's under a second, whatever the segments are, then that's how you get penalized.
And you get penalized.
Right. So technically, he can he can speed.
They
So you can go 0 halfway through your segment and then go 100 miles per hour the last half of that segment. You understand what I mean?
They would make him come back into the pits for the penalty.
A drive-through.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're racing, it's a drive-through. If it's a caution, you might have to come in and stop. I'm not 100% sure on the stop. You might just have to drive through at that speed. So he won a lot of the race in the pits, not taking anything away from him. Great driver as well. Got out the car, said, "This is weird. Ain't no fans."
He had a mask on too when he accepted the trophy, and I sat there and I was like, you know what? I don't get it.
No.
Ain't nobody around you. You don't even have your
And so-
crew chiefs near you. You're not even your pit members.
You're setting an example,
The announcers had the interview microphones on 10-foot poles.
did they?
So, like, they weren't, like, standing here, like, asking questions. They were holding it like this.
It's almost like they had a boomstick.
They
And they
did.
were like,
That's
hey,
exactly what it was. It
hey,
was on
can
a
you help me?
boomstick.
Can you help me?
And that's how they were asking the guys the
And then
questions.
they're basically like, Kevin, right here, Kevin. I got a question for
But
you.
I don't know how to feel. I mean, sometimes I feel like people aren't taking it serious enough. They just put on a mask, but then like 10 foot, I don't know about all that.
Man, if you got
Well,
the
what's
mask
hard,
on,
The
Tom,
mask-
is
the-
for the first month you told us don't wear a mask if you're healthy, because
You're
only
using
thing
the
you're do-
masks,
You're,
yeah.
you're using masks, but also all you're doing is just breathing in your own air and stuff. So if you're healthy, you're not protecting anyone else.
I've read
And
a
you
lot of
can't-
places that say if you're healthy, don't wear a
So-
mask anyways because you're blocking
Right.
yourself from getting good germs.
You've been told
Yeah.
twice two different things. So what are people supposed to? It is so aggravating.
The only
and
thing
confusing.
I think that the truth is you wear the mask when you can't social distance. That's the thing. So if the race car driver's wearing a mask and you're wearing a mask, why do you need the 10-foot thing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because
And
you're
that-
not spitting on each
right,
other.
Right. So if you're,
If you want to do that, why would you have the 10? You just put a lapel on it.
but I could see
Just
like
put it right here and just be like,
I'm gonna wear the
speak.
mask. I'm gonna wear the mask and get here and get close enough. Then it's better than stupid.
And if the driver's not wearing a mask, put a little sock covering over your microphone, and then throw it away when you're done.
Harvick's win was his 50th.
That's I think it was the
All
fastest.
That's a lot of wins.
It's the
Second or
fastest
third at
second or
that
third
age.
fastest at his age.
I think Waltrip had 84. How many Jeff Gordon have?
What is this fake text to Darlington winner by NASCAR Sarcasm?
I don't know. How many did Jeff Gordon win? Do you know offhand?
I think it was 84, 85.
He passed Darrell Waltrip, didn't he? I want to say
I
he-
think by one. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Waltrip's 83. Here it is.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm wrong. Gordon 93.
Yeah. I remember when he passed Darrell Waltrip. Because I can remember, like, how many did Richard Petty win? Something ridiculous.
200.
Yeah, 200.
So
yeah.
Jimmy has been sitting for 2 years on 83, one win behind Waltrip and Allison. So
Right.
3 or 4 years ago, you say he's going to pass them. Like, psh,
Yeah.
peace out, boys.
Yeah.
And he's still sitting behind them. That's what's aggravating about it is these last few years. He's still tied with Cale Yarborough at 83. If he wins one more, he ties Waltrip and Allison. Surely to God, he doesn't retire without tying them.
You know, Waltrip should have never got his own team. He should have just drove for somebody else. He had he didn't have a lot of wins when he was. When
I
he
said
had
the
his own
same thing
team.
about Tony Stewart.
He's a 3-time champion. Gordon with 93 wins.
Tony should have never left. Started his own.
Yeah, it's hard to do both. I just think it's hard to. It's kind of like trying to be the coach and the general manager in football. It's just too much.
Updated standings real quick in NASCAR Cup Series. The race will be Wednesday night. Coverage on WCSL here for us begins.
Yay!
at
We got
6:30.
something on WCSL. Some sports.
sports to listen
All
to.
right.
Something.
Yeah.
Harvick's in first. Bowman, Logano, Elliott, Keselowski, Hamlin, Almirola, Blaney, Dinabetto, Boyer, Truex, and Johnson is sitting in 12th. If you're wanting to know where he is. Guess who's not in the top 12 right now, Hunter?
Kyle Busch.
None of the Busch brothers. Kyle and Kurt are sitting.
Denny's there though.
They're sitting at 13 and 14. Hamlin is my pick to win the championship this year. He's sitting at 6th right now. So, like you said, Tom, you're saying, you know, do you pull for guys? You pull against guys? I'm gonna go down this list of people I pull for and against. Harvick, I kind of pull against him. It's just weird to me, like how he's, you know, you talk equipment, like all of a sudden Jimmy ain't winning, and he is, and he's in a Ford, and Jimmy's in a Chevy, and Stewart Haas
Well, you know,
switched from Chevy to Ford.
Harvick,
So
the
is he
season
winning because he's in a Ford and a good crew chief, or is he winning because he's a good driver?
Yeah, but
So
how
to
many
me,
times last year did Harvick win and they didn't strip the win from him, but there was always something post-race inspection-wise that they were like, this is kind of shady.
He's the one that they had the windshields that were bending down and in. And like I said, his crew chief's really good. Alex Bowman, the 88, he's Hendricks. I really don't care too much, but if he wins, it's not going to make me mad. Logano wins. I'm not too thrilled about it.
Logano.
Well, he's got a guy that works for him I went to college with. I wasn't too big of a fan with, and I just kind of pulled for him to lose at life. But
Look,
that's just,
there's a podcast I listen to.
that's just how.
There's a podcast I listen to. They call him Joey Slogano. I'm just like, it's funny, but I don't think he likes it.
Chase Elliott, I don't mind at all. Bill was a nice and decent driver as well, so I have no problem with the Elliots. Keselowski, I don't really have too much of a problem with him. Hamlin, I'm not a big fan of him, but he's a heck of a driver. Like I really like Hamlin's driving. Almirola, all of a sudden doing good in the
Denny
team
Hamlin.
car.
Only NASCAR driver sponsored by Jordan.
That's true too. Almirola left the 43 car, so I'd never pull for him. Ryan Blaney has a heck of a mustache that he can win for all he's okay. Dinabetto, I can't even say his name, so I don't care. Clint Boyer, if he wins, that'd be awesome. I like Clint Boyer. I don't see too many people have anything bad to say about Clint Boyer. Everybody pretty much likes him. Martin Truex Jr., kind of a jerk and whiner, so if he wrecks or loses, I don't care. The Bushes, they could both wreck for all I care.
No,
Both of them can wreck for all I care. Busher, he can definitely wreck for all I care after wrecking Jimmy on Sunday. He also wrecked somebody he was the last caution of the day, so that just tells you all you need to know about that guy.
Ruined it.
Hunter, do you know, real quick, who finished 9th in Darlington? If you'll remember this name when we talked about iRacing. John Hunter Nemechek.
Huh.
He got lost and finished 9th. Like, what? Timmy Hill was dead last. No equipment. They all have the same equipment. He wins about every race. But yeah, Nemechek come in 9th there. So that was very interesting. Let's see if I can find Timmy Hill. 33rd.
Racing.
Who?
Nemechek.
He's kind of young.
Must be.
That's the young one. Yeah.
That's a young one.
John Hunter.
His daddy raced for a long time.
Anybody?
I stopped hoping people would win outside of Kyle Busch when Casey Kane retired. I loved watching Casey.
Kane's a good. You kind of like to pull for the guys that are personable. You know what I mean?
No, he was very personable. And see, Casey Kane was not dominant, but he could win a race.
Yeah.
He wasn't one that always finished last. I mean, he never had a dominant spell like they would say Kyle Busch can be dominant. Kevin Harvick, Denny.
The guys that blame their crews, I really don't like.
Yeah.
I've never liked. I mean, if you win the race,
It's all
you get all the credit. But when you lose, don't turn around and say,
Oh, my crew. I didn't get that tire changed fast enough.
right. So I have issues with those guys. Earnhardt used to do that a lot. Kyle Busch does it. Harvick does it quite a bit too when they don't. He don't say nothing when they run perfect, but when as soon as they have a bad run, you're fussing at this and that, and you're just like, come on, guys. So anyway, he had problems in the pits yesterday and still won. Actually, they had a line I think got caught under the car or something. And They had a really bad pit stop while leading, ended up coming back and win. All right, they'll be back Wednesday night in Darlington. Jimmy said he's coming back. Y'all better be ready.
I don't know if they'll be racing. It's supposed to be like a 3-day rain event coming.
That's what I was told.
They're supposed to rain every day this week. That's what's
So,
tough, man.
They may end. Well, it's close enough by, Tom. They're driving down on race day. So this if it is postponed or moved, I don't think it'll be as hard for them to adjust per se as
I know that's here. Now what it does in South Carolina would be different. but-
Harvick's bringing his car that he won in. He's going to race it again on Wednesday night. No reason not to.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Jimmy, though, however, is going to have to go to the
It's
other
broke,
car.
you better fix it.
But the Hendricks guys, the other two Hendricks guys, Tom, that finished the race, finished 2nd and 4th. And Jimmy was leading, and Chase was up there. Byron was in the top 10 when he wrecked. So
It was almost a real good day for them.
oh, I was all pissy. I was pissy. If you're wondering why you didn't get any text yesterday, as soon as Jimmy wrecked, I said, next person who texts me, I'm cussing.
I thought
My cousin Zach
yeah.
sent me one about an hour later. He's like, "Oh my god!"
I ain't messing with that.
I told Zach.
I was
look at
wondering why
that.
we didn't get any Last Dance text messages.
I was
last
still
night.
mad at the dumb
Yeah,
shit
I figured.
reckoning with the lead.
I figured.
All right, guys. Anything else, Tom, that you want to talk to and get into today?
Wednesday, high of 57 degrees. It's gonna be a weird day Wednesday.
Dude, yesterday was 86.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Damn it, North Carolina, get your shit together
Now-
already.
now-
Daddy's tired of getting sick.
Now, y'all know for a fact that North Carolina's got different climates, and
All 4 seasons
Throughout
in
the-
the same week.
they can do that. If you really want to see them in the same day, go to Boone one day, and where you go to class in the morning in your hoodie, and you got to prepare for the afternoon, Tom. So what you do is you wear your hoodie on top and shorts on the bottom. That's the official.
I do that all the time, anyways. That was a soccer player.
That's the official uniform of Boone.
Shorts and a long
Now,
sleeve
now,
shirt.
now, real quick, I do want to mention something before we go. If college and high school sports are pushed back to spring, go ahead and give us the ring at Appalachian, whatever conference we're playing
He's
for.
trying to say
or
nobody
whatever.
can play up there. It'd be too cold.
You're not. Georgia Southern's not winning in Boone this year. I'll say that. You're not coming up. People don't understand.
They'll wear their Under Armour heat gear. come up there and
January,
beat y'all.
February, and March in Boone is just stupid. And if they're playing football during that time,
They'll still beat you.
who will?
Georgia Southern. Who beat them last year up on Halloween?
They won't beat
Oh,
them.
man.
Well, I
Oh,
told you those were extenuating circumstances. You can't make people in Boone play football on Thursday night. 1, 2, you can't make them do it on a Halloween night.
That was dumb.
You only get one holiday in Boone a year.
I really can't
Halloween.
talk too much because
That's about it.
I predicted 2 losses by Appalachian State where they won, so I can't really kick them around.
All right, guys. We'll see you next. Not next. This Wednesday. On KTCBroadcasting.com for Hunter Yancey and Tom Centofanti. I'm Kevin Hastings. Thanks for listening to Shock Joxx and KTCBroadcasting.com.